If you've ever asked ChatGPT for gift ideas for the holidays, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Also, I'd like to know, were there any good gift ideas? Did you use any of them? Did it help you with returns at all? Welcome back. Happy Monday. I got to say, Seahorse Trading, I really like this. Make Money Monday. Do we have a new name for Monday here? Sure looks like it. It is a Make Money Monday. Welcome back, everybody. We do have some stuff to cover here. We're 1 week closer to the Christmas holiday. Good morning. Let's get it. All right, folks, welcome back. Happy Monday morning. I hope you all are doing okay here today. Thinking about it, good morning, my man. It's great to see you again. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Seahorse Trading, likewise, your Make Money Monday. I like that a lot, dude. I like that a lot. I think we're going to keep that and we're going to roll it forward here. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. It's great to see you again. Chuck, welcome back. Good to see you as always. Fairchild, welcome back. Good to see you as always as well. SR, good morning. Hope that you all had a wonderful weekend and hope that so far your Monday is treating you well here today. Okay. Piggy Bank, good morning. It's Monday. We don't go crazy on the market. Reduce your risk on a Monday. I like it. Drew, good morning. Bernhard, good morning. Ultra Random, good morning. GMM, we're going to talk about GMM here today. I'm glad you're bringing that up. That's actually one from the happy hour that's been a winner so far. I actually have a little piece of that added at 306. So appreciate you, Ultra Random. We will definitely cover GMM, although it's going to be a little bit later here this morning. So sit tight. Drew, one thing here. Good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. And good morning and happy Monday. Let me know. I think you were talking last week with somebody about unable to get in touch with somebody here regarding a subscription or something like that. Let me know if everything's okay. If not, you folks can always email me and I'll make sure that you get helped in a very, very quick manner. So let me know. Make sure everything's good. Otherwise, reach out. Anthony, hello. Good morning, Big Bees. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to first take a look at the SPY here. Futures are pretty flat-ish across the board. S&P futures down 0.07% here ahead of the open. Dow futures up 0.02%. And NASDAQ here down 0.17. So frankly, this is pretty flat across the board for the market. We'll see what happens throughout the course of the day here today. Also, we do have some earnings. Let's see. So just a really quick look at some of the economic events this week. Nothing here that we're waiting for today. We do have CPI on Wednesday morning. That'll be at 8:30. We'll be on the show here together to cover that. We'll be here with Tim Melvin, actually. We have the PPI on Thursday. We have a bond auction there on Thursday. So that's pretty much it for our economic events here this week. Now, looking into today, just kind of looking at the market here, like I said, the futures are flat. Market looks like it's kind of trading sideways here. The previous all-time high, which was a new all-time high set on Friday. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what that is. Got that value at 609.07. So that is definitely going to be an upside level we're going to be looking at today. We'll see if we get there. Unsure if we do. And then the downside level, really these last 4 days, if we really kind of break beneath this candle here, I've got that low of 604.95. So if we break 604.95 to the downside, I think we probably will look for a 600 test. And then right beneath that is going to be that 20-day moving average. And then shortly or a little bit further beneath that, it's going to be that 50-day moving average. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in the SPY here. We'll see what happens. Given some of these headlines here, SPY not really reacting at all. All right. First stock that we're going to start with here is going to be Reddit. I just want to get this out of the way, and then we'll talk about the Nvidia stuff. Okay. So first stock here is going to be Reddit. Reddit, Morgan Stanley upgrades Reddit to overweight and raises the price target to 200. We're up 4.5% here in the pre-market, up $7.5. This stock has just been an absolute ripper to the upside here. Just huge move. And this has actually been a pretty sweet formation. We did get the island formation that I talk about all the time, and it didn't quite backtest that island and missed it by about 3 full points. But it still gave you that upside push, and it continues to print new highs here. Now it has the backing of this price target raise. And worth noting here that this price target raise, this was an upgrade and a price target raise, went from equal weight to overweight, and the price target went from 70 to 200. So fair enough. I've been offsides on this one. I've been saying for a while, I thought Reddit would be in the teens. I don't really understand the business. The stock has continued to progress here, continued to print highs. So really awesome stuff. If you're trading Reddit, congratulations. As far as a new trade here, even for a swing, I'd be waiting for a pullback, and I'm just not sure when we get that here. So Reddit, this should be a wild day here today. $170.50 here in the pre-market on the back of that upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Okay. If any of you are trading Reddit out there, or if you have traded Reddit, let me know. I'd like to know what you folks think about that. I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit. There's been kind of a momentum name here, but I'm not really sure anyone's swinging this or trading this for the long term. If you are, I'd like to have that discussion. All right, the next piece of news to get you ready for here today, and this one is going to have multiple layers, or I feel like it could have multiple layers. It's going to be Nvidia here. And Nvidia, China investigates Nvidia over suspected violation of anti-monopoly law. Okay, so first of all, let's just take a look at the chart. Then I'll show you the actual story, and I'll pull out some of the things from the story here. Here's the chart. We're sitting right at this, right? We kind of have like this triangle being formed from these higher lows that go on since the middle of the August here. Really, I was going to say the middle of the year, but August. We're still beneath the all-time highs here, and we're actually down by 2% here in the pre-market. That's interesting. We were down by 1% earlier when I first took a look at this news, but it seems like the selling has increased here a little bit. Let's take a look inside. All on pretty low volume. So we'll see what happens as the rest of this pre-market shakes out. But basically what's going on here, we're beneath the $141 line. That's the horizontal blue line. I have it marked at 140.96, but for all intents and purposes, it's 141. We're beneath that line. We are so far holding on to the 50-day moving average. That is definitely going to be a battle I want to examine here today. Do we close above that? If we do close above that, that would be great. That means we're kind of holding this, and we could actually turn back up or even bounce from that. NVIDIA has done a really good job with just kind of absorbing bad news here. But that's kind of the level where we're looking at. So 138.25, as long as we close above that here, should be fairly good for NVIDIA. And NVIDIA seems to dictate which way the Qs go. So I know you were asking about the NASDAQ futures here. I don't have a futures chart, but what we can do is take a look at the Qs. You can see here, Qs recently pushed to all-time highs. This is looking really strong as well. It's down basically 0.16% here. This is basically nothing. So again, I think if NVIDIA holds here, you might have another positive day in the Qs despite the slow start to the day here. But let's go back to NVIDIA and let's unpack this story a little bit. Let me go ahead and give you the story in case you want to have it on your own. I'll go ahead and throw that link in the chat here. Good morning, Keith. It's great to see you. Okay. China said Monday it launched an investigation into NVIDIA for suspected anti-monopoly law. Let me go ahead and show you the actual story here. In a move that will likely be seen as a retaliatory move against Washington's recent chip curbs. So the couple of things here, it looks like this is kind of how China's going to fight back. The one thing I know, one of the things that our group has kind of been talking about is potential conflict across the globe, even in the Middle East and also in Asia. We've, talked about the hypothetical of China invading Taiwan, or at least sealing off Taiwan and all of that. So this seems like a much easier way to kind of go at that. What this means for Nvidia, that's yet to be seen here. The U.S. chip maker is also suspected of violating commitments it made during the acquisition of Mellanox Technologies, according to terms. I actually don't remember that takeover very much. We'll see if that ends up playing a role here. And then its shares fell 2%. The investigation. Okay, so. And then it said Nvidia enjoyed booming demand here from China. So it'll be interesting to see which way this goes. To me, this is I'm more encouraged to see kind of this battle back and forth than to see just kind of full on going into Taiwan or saber rattling with Taiwan. Again, how Nvidia responds to this today should set up the trades that we have going forward here. We've already kind of seen a little bit of selling from Nvidia from its recent highs. If that starts to pick up steam, maybe some of the downside targets will be in effect here. If not, we'll see if this actually sets up for another move here. One of the other things that I want to watch for Nvidia today is going to be option activity. I want to see if there are new option positions being taken around some of this news, or if it just kind of looks like on the surface stuff here. So Nvidia definitely going to be in play here today, and I think we actually might have an opportunity to day trade this pretty well. One of the things I'll be watching for right out of the open is going to be a sell-off. This thing sells off out of the open and catches any type of support level. Giddy up. I think you might have something on here for a day trade. So we're definitely going to take a look at Nvidia here today. Good morning. Good morning, 3D. Great to see you again. Hustle and bustle. Welcome back. Mike, good to see you. Good to see you. Here we go. Here you go, Mike. And Robert, good to see you. Keith, good to see you. Boy, you guys are up and early here on a Monday. That is exactly what we want to see here. Robert, you were mentioning that you were trading Reddit calls. Okay, awesome. So you were doing risk-defined trades there. This is how I would do it in Reddit. Looks like you're currently long the 185 strike at 60 cents. Those are going to open up higher today, aren't they? Those are going to definitely open up higher today. So we'll see. Okay. Let's see where we're at next. Okay, let's talk about Apple here. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Apple has some news here today. We're just seeing this on CNBC here this morning. I'm not an Apple user, not an iPhone user. I'm a Mac user, but not an iPhone user. We are actually expecting a new iOS update as of today. And this update will allow Siri to talk to ChatGPT. One side note of this is that Apple's actually not paying OpenAI for this. I'd be curious to know, for all you Apple users out there, is this helpful? Is this something that you find beneficial? So when this update actually drops, let me know if this is something that's beneficial. Let me know what those features do. I was actually over the weekend playing around with the Apple Intelligence a little bit on the MacBook. It's nice and it's helpful. I don't really know that it's a huge game changer, though. I don't really think it would change anything in my like professional flow or anything like that. It's just kind of like a nice thing to have. But in any case, we are expecting a new Apple iOS here today. I know there's always the rumors that people with older generation iPhones that then update to the new Apple iOS, all of a sudden their phone starts performing worse or being slow, and it seems like it's time for an upgrade. So we'll be curious to see if any of that happens again. I don't use an Apple phone myself, so I'm going to be relying on you folks to let me know how that new update is. Will that do anything for Apple stock? I doubt it. There would probably have to be some type of public outcry if the update was bad or something like that. Again, I want to hear what you folks think about actually using Siri with ChatGPT. Does it give you anything that is helpful? Or is it just kind of a fun thing to play around with? Looking at the chart here, Apple is really kind of broken above its highs. As mentioned, of all of the Magnificent Seven, Apple, without a doubt, the safest to be in there. And this really not far from its highs. Wouldn't be shocked if Apple continues to perform well here. So that's what's going on here. Can't wait to see what happens with Apple. Now, next, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Palantir keeps going up. I gotta say, just kind of going back to our group here, have we had a better trade than the Palantir trade that we've been talking about for months at this point? Months? I mean, I know, several of the group here were in some of those uranium names like LEU and CCJ, and even some of the smaller names that had really pronounced moves and all of that. But was there a better trade than Palantir? I mean, this thing has been pretty much straight up since the mid to high 20s when we were really covering it. I know a lot of people that are invested in this for the long term. Alex Karp, the CEO, continues to make rounds on television and on FinTwit. There were some more posts of him being based over the weekend here. Palantir gapping up 6.6% here. Again, we have an $81 price in the pre-market here. Just absolutely no chill for this stock. All gas, no brakes. Palantir shares are trading higher after the company announced it expanded $36.8 million contract with the U.S. Special Operations Command. Of course, that comes courtesy of Benzinga Pro. So we have more government contract news here for Palantir, and that is pushing the stock up here another 6.6%. So at this point, I'll be honest with you, folks. I'm like, damn, why am I out of this? Remember, the first trade target that we had for one of the bigger communal trades was Anne Marie's Butterfly. Now, I know a lot of you folks also took just straight calls. There were a number of you that have owned the actual stock itself, which is great. Those are the people that are really winning here. Honestly, I wish I had stock on top of this. And for names that I really, really like, the way to actually trade that the best, own calls that you can get in and out of and book gains, and then just own the stock for the long term. The biggest slip up that I had here with Palantir is not adding shares no matter what the cost was in my long-term portfolio. I said, you know what? We're going to trade this move to the upside, and when it comes back in, I'll buy some. Well, that was 60 points ago at this point. We don't know when this stock is going to come in next. The one thing that I'm going to do here is if I continue to trade Palantir, I'm going to do it with options just to make sure that my risk is defined ahead of time. Looking at how extended this is on a daily chart, you've got an RSI reading here of 83. On a weekly chart, it's 88. And on a monthly chart, it's 88.39. It doesn't matter what time frame you look at. Palantir is extended here. What I can't wait for at this point is a move back down. If it does move back down, carves out a support level that it's able to hold, we'll start adding some stock there for a long-term trade. But what a move here in Palantir. I have no position in this, sadly. It just continues to trade up here. So for those of you that are still in it, congratulations. And then let me know. I know that this is a tough thing to do. Let me know if anyone's looking at shorting this. And not because the company's bad, just because the stock is extended and you're looking for a little bit of regression back to the mean. I mean, heck, that makes sense here. That seems prudent at this point. Those trades have been very, very difficult. Walmart is a stock that I'm in, that I'm currently trying to do this on. And every day that I come in and sit down at my terminal, the stock trades up. My short is just not working here. Thankfully, that short was done with options, so my risk has been defined here. But man, oh man, playing some of these regression back to the mean just haven't worked yet. I'm currently underwater in Walmart, and I've learned my lesson. I'm not necessarily trying to do that in Palantir. Big move up here in Palantir. Buffalo by Bicycle saying, this is my best investment ever. At this show, we love to hear that, man. We love to hear that. That sounds like a register ring. Maverick, oh yes, Palantir, indeed. Keith, I got roasted on Palantir puts I opened on Friday. Sounds like my Walmart trade, boss. Like, I totally get it. And again, this is not even saying, oh yeah, Palantir is a bad company, we should short it. No, it's just regression back to the mean, just not working. Buffalo saying, I'm not selling a single share. Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. I'm trying to read through these. James mentioning that it's trading like a meme coin. James, you're not wrong. It absolutely is. It's like it's up every single day, continuing to rip here. So really good stuff. 3D, I only have Palantir. Hey, you have 170 more shares than I do. And depending on where those shares are at, you must be doing pretty awesome. No wonder everyone's so happy around here every morning. it's just absolutely wild. Mike asking, how's your Costco? Well, Mike, I appreciate you. Costco is doing pretty good. Costco actually wasn't on my list here today, but since you mentioned it, we might as well just go ahead. Don't have a whole lot going on here today. We do have a slew of earnings after the close today, which we can take a look at. But as far as like news here this morning, everything seems pretty intact. Costco, this is pretty good. My last ad on Costco, Mike, was at 7:31. And I just forced myself to do it because I was like, the stock's selling off here. And every time the stock sells off and you say, I'll buy some later, you end up not buying it and the stock goes back to highs. Well, here we go. Last ad at 7:31. Now it looks like we are testing 1,000. Going to be incredible here. So look for that. Maybe even today. What do I got? 994 here in the pre-market. Wow. Costco's pretty good. The trip to Costco this weekend, Mike, if you were asking about that, that was excellent. Kind of a small trip, but I did get my Maker's Mark. I did re-up on Makers. So we're good for the holidays around the Ryan household here today. Okay. We'll see if we get that 1,000 test here on Costco. Mike, are you trading this? I can't remember. I can't remember if this is a stock that you like or not. It's tough. I love it. I actually just trade this with stock here. Oh my God, 3D. Oops, wrong one. I bought Palantir at 8. 3D, that is a massive, massive win. You're 10x. You're 10x here today. Hopefully you've paid yourself on at least some of those. Really, really awesome trade here for you. Okay, every C.dot. Now you're speaking my language, baby. Everybody should love Costco. Indeed. Indeed, everyone should love Costco. Oh, by the way, I know that one of the things that started here recently on Costco is they started scanning everyone's ID at the door instead of just having you show that. I'll be honest, I go right when the store opens, so maybe my experience is different than the masses here, but it does not seem that the scanning the card has slowed anything down. Everything seems like it's moving like normal. So hopefully that's a good thing. Hopefully that actually creates more converted paying members when it's all said and done. I'm sure that there were people sneaking in on somebody else's membership. So, okay, you know what? We will actually take a look at let me add that MicroStrategy. I definitely want to take a look at that here today again as well. Let me keep moving with some of the news here. All right. Next, we just talked about the Palantir. Next, let's talk about some of the Chinese stocks. Now, who from last week was trading BABA? I feel like there were a bunch of you that were on this here last week, whether it's BABA, Pinduoduo, ticker PDD, Baidu, all of those stocks jumping here today. So all of the Chinese stock has jumped. Here's the latest government statement and what it means. Let me actually grab that for you real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and give this to you. Oh, this is actually a Market Watch paywall. Sorry about that. Don't necessarily. There we go. Oh, no, it's not. It's free. Here we go. Okay. So Chinese stocks surged late in Hong Kong trade on Monday after the government announced a promising action to boost its stuttering economy. So we've talked about this quite a bit. We've talked about Chinese stimulus. We talked about the last round of stimulus really not doing a whole lot here, but it looks like all of this pretty much across the board pumping here. So a statement from the Chinese said, quote, said it will, quote, implement more proactive fiscal policies and moderately loose monetary policies, enrich and improve the policy toolbox, and strengthen extraordinary counter-cyclical adjustments, according to the English translation. So that is causing all of these stocks to move higher here today. This should give us a trade. So first of all, if any of you were taking any of these trades based on the support level that it was holding, I know we talked on BABA how this Stimulus has really done a good job holding that 200-day, which we have down here at just about $83. We actually made a double bottom near that 200-day. And with this gap here today, we've recaptured the 500, we've recaptured the 20, and we've recaptured the 100. We have the 50-day moving average above it here, about 6 points above it at 97.18. That would be another target that we could possibly get here. And if we look to the left, you'll notice that this thing is pretty gappy all the way up to $100. So we'll see if we get any juice here, any follow through on some of these Chinese names. This is what we missed the last time. We got a little bit of a bump when they talked about stimulus. The stocks traded up pretty much in a group, but we really didn't get much follow through. Now, BABA here looking like it's doing a really good job in the pre-market, kind of holding some of those gains. I'm going to be setting up a day trade on some of these bigger names here today. I am going to watch some of the movers, but I actually think we're going to have some opportunity here in some of these bigger names, which should be a little bit easier to trade. Here's BABA. I also want to take a look at Pinduoduo, ticker PDD, and I also want to take a look at Baidu. So Pinduoduo, another kind of an interesting situation that it was in. Technically, this is a higher low than the last time we bottomed out down here, and recognized that we did the same thing, right? We lost that 500. We kind of consolidated and held beneath it, and now we're trading back up. Now, the last time that we went through this 500, this is important. Last time we went through this 500-day moving average, we broke it at about 102 and change, anywhere in there. The stock traded all the way up to 155. So we had a 53-point move the last time we launched through this 500-day. Here, we're setting up to do that again here. I have the 500-day value at 108.73. The current pre-market price, which is up 7% from Friday's close, is 106.84. We are right beneath it. Now, we did gap above this 20-day moving average. That value is at 106.18. We definitely want to hold that here today. But if there's any type of carry through here today on Pinduoduo, watch for this 500-day to get taken out. And if we get that continuation, maybe we get another launch like we did the last time that this happened. If we get a similar type of move, I could see this stopping at about 135, 140, and that would take us through all of these moving averages that we have above us as potential targets. So BABA was really nice, double bottom around the 200-day. Pinduoduo, really kind of a attractive setup here, looking like we're trying to go through that 500. We'll see if that materializes. Last one I wanted to check out here on that news is going to be Baidu, ticker BIDU. I will say that of all of the Chinese names, this is the one that I trade the least. I much prefer some of the smaller Chinese names are easier to trade here, but BABA and Pinduoduo, my favorite. You can see here with Baidu, similar situation. We've really kind of made this bottom around 80-ish, and then we've kind of traded up off that bottom. We are just shy of the 50-day moving average here, which is 2.5 points shy of the 200-day. I'd like to see these two moving averages get captured. We'll see if we end up doing that here. If it does, I do think that has a possible move up to 115 there at the 500. But again, a lot of this is going to require us to have some type of follow through. This is what we were missing the last time that we had stimulus news out of China. So that's one of the things we'll be looking at here. Okay, you guys are already on to some of the movers. Let's go. We will talk about that for sure. Looks like this is LDTC. That is number one on my list. So we'll definitely talk about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla here. Looks like, Anthony, you wanted to take a look at Tesla. Tesla here looks like it traded above 400 in the pre-market, although it's come back in a little bit now. I don't think that battle is done here for today. Tesla hits 400 in overnight trading on Robinhood amid analyst upgrades and full self-driving optimism. So let's take a look here at the news feed. I don't really have anything else here. Just there's something on the AI robot here. Yeah, but that's not all that great. So, okay. So Tesla here up 2.5%. Here's your daily chart on Tesla. Okay. And the reason that I bring this up should be very, very clear. We are about to test some of these all-time highs that we made. What was that day that we made those all-time highs on? November 4th, 2021. All right. And let me actually get you that exact value here. Sorry about that. That all-time high going to be right in here at 414.50. 414.50. Okay, 414.50. We'll see if that gets tested here today or in the near future here. You can look at Tesla's stock here. This has been extremely strong recently. This last break out of the sideways formation, we just kept moving up, pulled back, support held, moved to new highs, pulled back again, support held, and now we've moved to new highs. Where do these highs stop? That's what we're going to be looking for. The next pullback here, if that holds, I'm guessing maybe 360, 365-ish here. That should set us for the next move higher. So we'll see. We'll see here on Tesla. This one definitely going to be in play here today. If you take a look at the pre-market here, you can see that we're pretty much button up 399 right against this pre-market high. We'll see if we have the juice to kind of move through that here today. I will be watching that. The pre-market range here, a little bit wider. So we'll see if this ends up breaking down. My gut tells me we probably test some of those upper areas here right out of the open. We'll wait and see what happens when the market opens here. Anthony, you're saying 414 here. I'm not sure if you gave any other context to that. Do you think that's here today? You think that's soon? There are two things I'm thinking. Either the rally stops at 414. Okay, so it looks like kind of a rally up to 414, or maybe we go to 450 in a few days. Tell you what, if we go to 450, that would be a huge move here. We'll see if we end up getting that. That's Tesla, ticker TSLA. All right, let's go back to the SPY here real quick. I did have some other news that I wanted to talk about here. Stocks and crypto ride optimism, but the November CPI could be the big ultimate market test. This is what investors are looking at. And remember, that CPI comes on Wednesday. So Monday here, we do have some earnings. We'll see how those earnings perform, and we'll see what Tuesday is like. Tuesday might be one of those low volume days as the market really kind of waits out that CPI print on Wednesday. We'll also see how crypto does. Currently looking at the crypto futures chart here, 99,455 on /BTC at the CBOE. So crypto looking pretty good. See if we get another test there of 100. Ethereum also had a strong weekend. I saw calls for traders thinking Ethereum is going to 6,000 here pretty soon. So really interesting stuff. Still long. All of my crypto, haven't sold any of that. And then lastly here, the treasury yields tick higher as traders continue to digest the jobs data. We'll see where that ends up going. Again, they're going to have some new data prints here coming Wednesday to factor into that. So we shall see. Okay. Really, really good stuff. Maverick, good day, Ryan. What are your thoughts on ticker MDB Mongo database? Well, interesting that you should bring that up here. It's almost, Maverick, as if you knew that MDB is reporting earnings tonight. I will say here, as far as the stock goes, I don't trade this very often. I know that we use MongoDB products here at Benzinga, so I guess I have some familiarity with the product, which is always something that I recommend for those of you that are trading, but I don't trade the stock often. So I don't really have a feel for this stock. Now, with that being said, it sure looks like this stock wants to punch higher, doesn't it? Sure looks like this wants to punch higher here. I've got this value here, 349.50. It looks like we are literally testing this recent high. I think that's what, November 25th? Yep. The high from Monday, November 25th. Sure looks like this wants to break and go higher. Again, earnings here tonight after hours. Let's see if we have any estimates for that. So here it is. Looks like the EPS estimate, 69 cents. Revenue estimate there, 497. What did it do the last time it did quarter three? Wow, we had a huge beat the last time on quarter three, beat the EPS by almost double. God, 92% surprise to the upside there. Revenue surprise to the upside, 7.26%. Now, I know previous earnings reports are not indicative of future earnings reports, but sometimes these quarters behave a little bit differently. It looks like MDB did really well last quarter here, or last report here for Q3. And like I said, just kind of looking at this chart here, just kind of eyeballing this, sure looks like this wants to shoot higher. Robert, I know you often trade these. I went looking for a trade from Robert, and he already threw it out there. I'm long MDB, backed by Friday order flow. Interesting. Okay, so you saw order flow on Friday, bullish order flow. Is that just regular stock? Were those options at all? We'll actually monitor that here today. We'll monitor the unusual options here today and see if we see any type of unusual flow that might tip off some of those earnings. So really, really good stuff. Okay. That was MongoDB. Good stuff there. That is coming after the close here. Also, might as well just kind of go into this now since we're on the subject of earnings after the close. We also have AI, and this is important because last week was a big week here for ticker AI. That's, of course, C3.ai. We've had a really, really huge move. This move, middle of November, this move really kind of started to take us out of this sideways channel. Now, let me go ahead and actually draw this on here. Oops, wrong one. I think it's going to be on this one, parallel channel. So we're pretty much doing this. And we had kind of this channel here. So this little parallel channel that we were in for some time, we've really broke out of this recently here with the last move. We're currently in the second leg up out of this move. Stocks gapping up 5% here in the pre-market. And we do want to mine some of these previous highs here. I got this at about 48 and change as the previous high. And then its all-time high, of course, 53.64. So we'll see if we get that. Do we have any other news here on this? No, we're just waiting for earnings. So no re-ratings or anything ahead of these earnings. Looks like last Thursday we had Davidson getting a $35 price target. Boy, we blew past that. They moved there from 20. We went right past that. So we'll see here on AI. I don't have any stats showing what the options are implying there. Let's see if I can grab that here from my broker real quick. Market makers are pricing in a $6.75 move here on ticker AI. So there you go. Looks like just shy of $7. We'll see if we end up getting that move. Option chains here, at least for the January contract, look incredibly robust in terms of the open interest. You should have plenty of opportunity to trade this to the long and the short side for earnings, as those chains are incredibly active. So, okay, good stuff here on AI. I will say, I know that this company is like a real company and all that. I'm not trying to disparage it or anything, but I don't think that this is all that great. I mean, we have a market cap here, 5.14 billion versus 87 million of revenue. Stock is not cheap at all. I know I don't have a forward PE calculation here, but you can see just based on revenue to market cap, this is not a cheap stock at all. It demonstrated robust financial performance with total revenue growth of 20.5% year over year for the quarter, marking 6 consecutive quarters of year over year acceleration. Okay, right away, that's something to watch in the earnings report. If that starts to slow down or move the other direction, this stock has an opportunity to get hit pretty big on that. So I know some of these stocks, if they don't guide correctly or if they report earnings that are slightly out of line, they really get hit. Looks like if the revenue growth comes in at all here, or the year over year acceleration comes in a little bit less, that could end up hitting the stock here on AI. So, okay, I don't trade this. I've never actually traded this for earnings. I've kind of just day traded this here today. Maybe we will get the juice here for a day trade, as there seems to be some pretty good pre-market volume here. We'll see what happens here at 43. I'll be watching this one here today, but I don't have any potential trade set up for this one. AI could be a good butterfly candidate. Okay, interesting. And then, the other thing, Robert, is we'll see how the earnings do here. Maybe we have a post-earnings options trade set up for AI. We can ask Anne-Marie about that here today. But you're right. If you want to do a butterfly candidate, this one would make a pretty good candidate for, if you want to do a butterfly trade, this would be a pretty good candidate for that. Also, this is a really good time to remind you, although we don't have Anne-Marie's show here today, if you're a Benzinga Pro member, you always have access to Anne-Marie, and you'd be able to ask her about this today ahead of the earnings. In fact, let's see if there's any activity in her chat room yet. We can always check back in here. Nope, not yet. Looks like there was a whole bunch of closing trades from last week. Not surprised to see that. Anyway, AI reporting here later today. We'll see how this reports. One of Anne-Marie's trades that we did talk about last week that is also reporting here. It's going to be Oracle, ticker ORCL. You can see one of the things that I was doing here is I was basically looking at her little box means of technical analysis here, and I think that we probably test this $200 level and shoot up into this area here. Top end of this range here, 212. Bottom end of this range here, about 195. That's currently where we're sitting right now. So Oracle reporting earnings here today after the close. So far, so good. Looks pretty good. Let me actually reset this here real quick. Higher here in the pre-market by about 1.75% on really low volume. So get ready for your Oracle earnings here later today. Okay, what other earnings do we have? We talked about Mongo. We talked about Oracle. We talked about C3.ai. Now let's talk about Planet Labs, ticker PL. This is going to be another one of those space plays. This was off our space watch list here. Planet Labs has been participating in the run recently. You can see exactly what this looks like here on the daily chart. We've really moved away from this $2 level, and it does look like we're kind of on the backside of this move. So this is not one that I would play here for earnings. I'm curious to see what they report, but nice little pullback here off that $5 level. I will say, I know this isn't like the best formation here for a potential island, but long as we hold 4 here, we're still kind of in that island formation. We're still kind of holding the back end of that. Now, I know this really sold off and filled that gap, but it's good news that the buyers stepped back in here. So I'll actually be watching Planet Lab here today. $4 would be the level that we don't want to lose. Okay, $4 is the level that we do not want to lose here. Ticker PL. Let me see if there was any other news on that. No news on that ahead of the earnings. And then really quick, let me take a look at the options chain here. Just take a quick gander. Okay, so that January contract, tons of open interest there. Actually, wow, there is 21,500 contracts held in the January 5 contract. So the near the money contract here, the $5 call, 21,524 contracts held open there. That dwarfs anything on the put side. So it looks like they're looking at Planet Labs here to the upside. So this will be an interesting report. No position here. Probably won't position for this one, but I'm interested to see what the reaction is here. One of the other reports that is happening here today is going to be Toll Brothers, and we've talked about some of these home builders recently. And how, some of these stocks might be kind of coming in here. Toll Brothers recently pulled off the high. Now, unfortunately, I didn't actually trade this one. This pulled off to the high, but has done a really good job holding that 50-day moving average. For a trade here, this is basically all we want to take a look at. If we break through this 50-day, I do think the 100-day is next on the downside here. That's 146.75. We have the 200-day all the way down here at 133.64. We'll see if we get there. To me, it's all about this 50-day. If we can hold this here. I think it was Matt Malley 2 weeks ago talked about shorting home builders. Looks like we did have kind of a down move here. Not a huge move down, but a regression back to the mean at least. Toll Brothers here reporting after the market closes here today. The conference call is scheduled tomorrow on Toll Brothers. Really quickly here, let me see what the options do. I've actually traded Toll options before. Pretty nice option, or market makers pricing in an $8.60 move here on Toll Brothers, ticker TOL. Thinking about it, appreciate this. Toll is rolling over, but I have to admit it's set to pop if earnings are decent. And this is a really good point here. Thinking about it, really good point. Some of these stocks that have run into earnings end up not showing continuation, but this one here today, kind of pulled back ahead of this earnings. And I agree with you. I do think this is set to pop. They always talk the stock up. The CEO always talks the stock up. Very, very reminiscent of Jensen Huang and the CEO for ServiceNow, who likes to do the same thing. Sorry about that. Needed some tea there. Okay, we do have one more stock that's reporting earnings here today after the close. That's Casey, ticker CASY. This is Casey's General Stores. really expensive stock here. I've actually never traded this. I have no experience trading this name. I'll probably pass on this, but this is another one here set to report today. Let's see if we get anything here for the options on this one. Yeah, market maker pricing in a $25 move here on ticker CASY, Casey's General Stores. Okay, what do you folks want to take a look at here today? We are going to be expecting 13 pretty soon. We can go ahead and take a look at the movers. Do you guys just want to go right into some of those? I'm guessing. P-Lab stock, what's your opinion? Are you talking about Planet Labs, the one that we just talked about? Oh, no, you're talking about Plab, Photronics here. Actually, don't follow this one. Erkan, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, please correct me. Photronics is a US-based company that is principally engaged in manufacturing photomasks. What are photomasks? The photomasks, here we go. I guess I just need to keep reading, it seems. Photographic quartz plates that contain microscopic images of electronic circuits that are used as a component in the manufacturer's integrated circuits for flat panel displays. Okay, this helps make flat panel displays for a variety of applications. The revenue from products designed from the integrated circuit production accounts for the majority of total revenue, with the rest derived from products for flat panel display production. Okay, so what are my thoughts on this? Still kind of expensive here, right? Again, I don't have a forward PE, but again, you're looking at like 210 million versus a 1.6 billion market cap. Maybe not as expensive as some of the other stocks, maybe cheaper than some of its peers here. Looking at the daily chart, I really like where this is at. Actually, especially given here today, we took out this 200-day. And look at that. We've actually been kind of testing this 200-day recently, going back to November 7th, test and reject. November 25th, test and reject. And then here today, 2650, we have actually popped above the 200-day. So the first thing that I want to see is, can we actually close above that? If so, that sets us up for maybe some more move higher here. Okay, I don't see any fresh news on this. We do have earnings here coming up Wednesday before the market opens. P-Lab, Wednesday before the market opens. You know what, Erkan, if you come back tomorrow, how are the options on this one? Maybe we can actually set up a potential options trade on this one. P-Lab. Option chains look kind of weak, actually, on this. There doesn't look to be a whole lot of volume. So maybe this will not be the best opportunity for that. But anyway, I like this. I like that we really kind of took out the 200-day. The 200-day is without a doubt my favorite moving average. And I love seeing multiple tests and then finally a breakthrough. So this is actually looking pretty interesting here today, especially if we can close above that. If we come all the way back in and lose that and kind of give that up, I wouldn't necessarily be appreciative of that, but nice that we're actually able to close above that too, or nice that we're able to pop above that 200-day. Really good stuff. Really good stuff there. Okay, what did I miss here? I personally, I'm a little late. Did you go over Workday? No, I did not. I did not, but we can do that. Fairchild, the peers tab, that's basically just trying to automate that. There could be, just because it's not on the peers tab, I wouldn't necessarily say it's not a peer. I'm just saying that it hasn't been detected as that. Anything on app, it's dropped. Okay, let's take a look at that. We're going to start with Workday. That's W day. And then we'll do app next. That's, of course, app loving here. So Workday, what's going on here? Workday shares are trading higher. And it was announced the company would join the S&P 500. Okay, so nice little S&P 500 push. You can see exactly what this has done here on Workday. We've really taken out this entire area that we've been kind of consolidating in. We were beneath the 200-day. A nice little move above it. We've actually held onto it. Now we're getting another gap above that range. This actually fills the gap almost. Yes, it sure does. Looks like we almost fill the gap going all the way back to March of this year. Got the highs there shortly above that. They're 311 here. So this, and that actually is a double top. Interesting. Workday, I'll be honest, this is pretty good. This means that there's likely going to be some more buying ahead of this. If it's joined the S&P 500, should get indexed into some of those funds. So this should be really good news here for Workday, up 8.6% here in the pre-market. Looking pretty good, Tom. Looking pretty good. All right. 8:48. We're going to go ahead and bring on my main man, 13. 13, how you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Oh, it was fine. Actually, I enjoyed the whole slew of football games you had yesterday, including that Bills Rams game. That was a total banger. Actually, really helped me out with my my fantasy league as well.
86 points or something like that scored in that game. Just a back and forth shootout.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And yeah, Allen had a new record, not even one that Tom Brady owns. He threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 3 touchdowns in the same game.
Okay, so pretty good fantasy performance for Josh Allen.
That's since 1950.
There, okay, you had all the stats lined up. Boy, coming in hot with the football stats here, 13. I absolutely love that. Okay, 13, I have not taken a look at any of the pre-market movers, some of the smaller stocks that are out there. We did run through some of the news here, whether it be Reddit, Nvidia, Apple, Palantir, some of the Chinese names. Of course, where do you want to start here today?
Well, you covered some of those ones that have news this morning. Reddit had news, Palantir had news, but let's get into some of these movers that also have news. The one I started with was LDTC.
Oh, I think the group is going to be happy about that because there were a number of people mentioning that one. Let's take a look here. Here is LDTC. I'm going to go ahead and just read the why is it moving, but I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right.
LeddarTech shares are trading higher after the company announced a collaboration with Texas Instruments for advanced driver assistance systems and autonomous driving solutions. So here you go. Looks like this kind of just fits in the autonomous driving theme. Huge move here. This is a penny stock that's now in dollar territory.
Yeah, they also had some other news about how they are amending their credit facility and bridge financing offer. So they're also doing some behind the scenes work with their books. When I tried to look into that, though, apparently Benzinga Pro didn't like their balance sheet because it caused some problems for me. So I couldn't get a reading on their financials. It was just that sticker, though, for some reason. They do have 12.1 million shares in the float. So this is in the neighborhood of where we want the price to be. Big move this morning. We got this pullback here. So we could be starting to put in a bit of a bull flag if we hold up here. I don't have any levels marked up. I hadn't put this into my broker yet, but we're still above VWAP. So as long as we hold that, we could continue with this upward momentum. It just needed to cool off for a bit, but that's kind of where we're at with this. MACD is indicating that this is trying to roll over, but we're still in pre-market. A lot of things could happen. If it goes beneath VWAP, then that'll be the point where we look for a recapture going into the open.
Okay, now I have VWAP at 113. You might have already said this, and I just didn't hear. What level do you have your VWAP at?
I have it at 128.
128. Okay, so a fairly substantial difference there.
It is trying to push up now too, as well.
Yep,
but
sure is.
It's at that point where it's either going to succeed in that, or that MACD is going to be right, indicating that it was trying to turn around and go lower. So for me, it's just wait and see what happens closer to the open.
Okay. Really good stuff there. LDTC. We'll see if we have some trades here on that. Float here, 12 million. Okay, next here I've got ZEO. This is Zeo Energy. This stock popped in the after hours on Friday last week, has actually continued higher here today. The news on this one, White Oak, and again, this was from Friday. This was released after the close on Friday. White Oak Global Advisors on Friday reported a stake of 58.2% in Zeo Energy via 13D. So that is driving this stock's up 109% here today. You think we got a trade on this going forward?
I think we do. What we've seen with some of these stakes, investor stakes that some of these companies get into with these, is that these stocks can end up running for multiple days. So that could be what we see here with ZEO. So I'd think that tomorrow we also keep our eye on this one as well. The company does have 10.5 million shares in the float. I don't think they are going to need to raise cash. And that might be one of the reasons why White Oak Global wanted to get into this company. The company appears to be slightly net positive on their earnings. So not really losing money. They have cash on hand. So even if they do end up reporting a negative quarter, and still would be leaning on their balance sheet for data, like how much they have short-term investments coming up, and how much cash they have on hand. But I think this company is looking pretty good on the financial side. So let's just see if we can trade this momentum with the 10.5 million shares they have in the float.
Yeah, I was going to say float. I really like that. I actually like that this wasn't a penny stock. That's now a dollar stock. I would much prefer to trade ZEO than LDTC, at least if given a choice. So awesome stuff. We'll see what we can do there. Next on the list here, I have SONN, SONN. This is one that we're familiar with. Looks like this is popping on some recent news that we'll check out here. I know we've traded this one a number of times before off the relative volume scanners. Has given us some great trades before. If I take a look at the daily chart here, yeah, I think this is probably reverse split since we traded the last time, but I'm pretty sure this was earlier this year. Here in March was one of the last times that we traded this one. Let's take a look here, kind of around the horn. Short interest a little bit, but not really a whole lot. Not a whole lot of recent insider stuff to take a look at. And indeed, it looks like we did a reverse split, 1-for-8 reverse split, the end of September this year. So I guess still a little fresh here on SONN. News here this morning. Looks like we got a PR here this morning. Sonnet Biotherapeutics announces top-line safety data following a successful completion of SON 1010 monotherapy dose escalation in a phase 1 SB101 trial. So, okay, looking like some good data out of a phase 1 trial here. Stocks up 70% thereabouts. What do you make of this?
This doesn't read like this is the end of their phase 1 trial. It's just more of an update. They're saying that this is the completion of their dose escalation in phase 1 trial. So that doesn't necessarily strike me as something that they're finished with and they're moving on to the next phase. I think they're still in phase 1. As far as the financials go, it seems like they're going to need to raise cash at some point. They do lose about $3.5 million a quarter. And that's about how much they have on the balance sheet right now. There's one other thing that I found that was interesting with this. Took it off the screen for a moment. They do have less than 1 million shares in the float, 826,000 shares. Trying to look at the reverse split. So it seems like every year since 22, they do a reverse split in September. That's the month. So next year, if they're running a little high on the share count, maybe we can anticipate a reverse split coming in September.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're joking, but kind of not really at the same time.
And here goes LDTC, by the way.
Be careful with this one here. SONN. We'll see. This is actually pulling back to the VWAP here. I've got that VWAP at 333.
That also looks really good too. For like the chart. But go ahead and yeah, see, that looks like it's flagging just like LDTC was. So we'll have to wait and see what we get with SONN.
Well, let's see if it holds right here.
Yeah.
Right. And this is pretty much the backside of that volume move that we just got. Okay, a couple more movers here, then we'll go back. I know we want to take a look at apps still and stay focused. We'll absolutely take a look at APO here. That was another good call that you made that I did not take, unfortunately. We'll look into those real quick. Let me actually add those here to the list. APP and then also APO. By the way, if I all of a sudden just disappear or something terrible happens here today, I upgraded to Windows 11 yesterday, later in the day, and I didn't really put it through its paces over the weekend. That's my own fault. So if we have any problems here, you'll know what took place. So far, so good on Windows 11. So anyway, next here is going to be XIII. This is one that we've traded a whole bunch off the relative volume scanner. XIII. The catalyst here looks like these were from Friday. Did we have one after hours? No. So it looks like this is just kind of momentum continuing from Friday. Maybe a relative volume play. XIII. Did you trade this one? I can't remember if you traded this one last Friday or not.
On Friday, I don't remember if I did. Friday was fun day.
It's our theme. 2.6 million shares. So
yeah. This one, BBAI and CCCC were the other ones I kind of had on my list, but we already know those because we've traded them many times before. So they're getting going as well. XIII is just one of them. It's got AI in the name, folks. And there he went. So BBAI also getting some staying away bigger beans. No, you didn't miss BBAI hustle and bustle. We haven't really talked about that yet, but we still are.
I'll add that to the list. BBAI.
Yeah, we still are thinking, that this is probably going to end up. Well, the thought is that this is going to be another Palantir. So we'll have to end up seeing if that happens. But it seems like a lot of the AI names are getting attention. That means that those usual suspects that we've been trading a lot, seeing a lot move with Nvidia and AI could also get going as well. That does mean SoundHound. I haven't looked at that yet, though.
SoundHound had a huge day last week. Let me check on that real quick. SoundHound had a huge day last week. Looks like it's higher by just about 0.75% here today. The volume is not as big as it was last week. Let's see what happens when the regular session opens there. That's ticker SOUN. Another ticker that I wanted to cover here today. I think there were several people looking at this earlier this morning. SATL. This is Satellogic. We've talked about this one with some of the space theme that we've talked about recently. But anyway, ticker SATL here. We do have some news this morning. Got a $10 million private placement made by a single institutional investor here today, excuse me. Satellogic announces $10 million private placement with single institutional investor issuing 3.57 million Class A shares at $2.80 each. Proceeds to support generic corporate purpose with closing expected by December 10th. That's tomorrow. So this is what's going on, plus 32% here.
And they also got a contract expansion with Cinmax. That also happened earlier today.
Here it is. Cinmax expands contract with Satellogic to drive company's oil and natural gas production monitoring offering. Okay, really good stuff there. SATL. Again, getting another pop here. Just kind of looking at this, does look like 550 is going to be one of those levels, and maybe 570, 575 if it gets above that there. SATL.
Yep, and we have a what is this, after hours? Looks like it might be pre-market high. As soon as we opened, we got it to 610. So there's the big zone to break out of. But yeah, seems like 575 is the first marker we need to get to.
Okay. Okay. Really good stuff there. Do we want to take a look at any of these other ones? I guess IPHA, Innate Pharma shares are trading higher after the company announced the Telemac phase 2 trial of lacutamab demonstrated significant symptom relief and quality of life improvement. So you're getting some positive data there. Phase 2 trial driving IPHA to the highs here this morning, retraced over 50% of that move. Really, when you get some of this data on some of these smaller stocks here, really what I'd like to see is a move through that VWAP. Right now, to me, this just seems like this is nothing unless the volume really starts to pick up. And that's just kind of looking at the price action. 45 million shares, a little bit thicker than we're used to trading here on some of these smaller ones. Really nothing going on in the short interest. Do you have anything on this one, 13?
Just thoughts. It might be one of those that leaks. The big thing for me on this one is that it needs to recapture VWAP. I'm sure your VWAP is above where the current price is right now. That's going to be the big. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, I think, with the IPHA. Get above VWAP, then we can start looking at having some more upside momentum. But for now, it looks like it might be going lower until it recaptures VWAP.
Okay. Real good stuff there. MRM, this is Meridum. This actually had a news catalyst earlier. This has done nothing but bleed here in the pre-market. Meridum shares are trading higher after its subsidiary announced it received over 25,000 mother bracelet unit orders. Market is not impressed with that. Looks like this did spike here on Friday and has really kind of come in. You got a befuddled look on your face, 13.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look and see when we traded this the last time. It looks like August was the last time that we traded this one. That's just based on this previous price action we had. I don't know if we no, I don't think we were trading this in 21. So it looks like August was the last time we were really messing with this, and I had some levels. Interestingly, 755 and 875 were the two upside targets I had. I also have 1 to 10. But in the after hours on Friday, we got almost to that 875, and in the pre-market here, we did hit the 755, but came right back in. So those levels are still in play. Should we continue? Should we turn around and move back over VWAP and get some upside? But it's not looking great. It's just on a staircase down right now. Yeah. Maybe you get some support around 320.
Honestly, we have better opportunities here than the MRM. I would say just let this one do its thing. Happy to report this, though. Sarah Sassy, well, I'm out after this SONN. Looks like that's taken another leg up here in the pre-market. Holy thank you. I don't know who you're thanking, but I'll just take it. I'll just take it. We'll give you a register ring and a one up here in the pre-market. Really good stuff there, Sarah. You guys hooking the winners early on a Monday. Couldn't be more proud. Couldn't be more proud or happy of you folks. Absolutely awesome stuff. Okay, I know you were mentioning BBAI earlier here today. This actually has a pretty good pre-market formation, and I really like the volume. I really like that this is kind of expanding here in the pre-market. I would look for more of this expansion in the regular session when it actually opens here. BBAI, nice little move above the $4 handle. Really needs to hang on to that. I've got VWAP here at 389, so we're really not that far away. Quick check-in on the short interest. While the days to cover is not all that high, the percent of float shorted up here near 20%. So definitely has some short interest here. BBAI, what do you have on this?
Well, it's just one of these ex-girlfriends that we've traded before, but the sideways action that we're experiencing right now, I just want to see what we get out of this. I have a feeling we may end up going a little bit lower before the open, but that's just based on the current price action I see right now in the 5-minute. Not exactly sure if this is really what's driving it, the news, but I feel like this is just going to be one of those stocks that continues to get attention as long as the AI theme is strong and the thought that this could be the next Palantir, holds true. So I think those are the two things you're going to want to watch with this stock. I don't know how much higher we're going to go in the pre-market here. Volume's looking a little bit light. MACD's looking like it could roll over. This might come back under 4 before it goes higher. So this is something just to, be patient with.
Yeah, I'll also just kind of remember where we came from here. BBAI just Tuesday, December 3rd. The stock was $2.50. It's almost a double up here.
Sorry, Carmen was mentioning that this is on her potential liftoff list, so it could end up going higher. But based on the current price action right now in this pre-market, it's going sideways, and I'm not exactly sure if we're going to get a break out of 415 or not.
Okay. Good stuff here, BBAI. Also worth mentioning here real quick, Rigetti. This had we talked about this a lot last week. This had multiple days last week, and then we're gapping even higher here today. No news, so it looks like just kind of a continuation from last week. The quantum theme has been great. I'm seeing here a number of you folks talking about that. Zippity Doodah talking about QBTS. So this quantum theme has been pretty good. Barry the Great, BBAI and QBTS are killing it indeed. This theme looks like it's carrying over from last week. So awesome. We should be able to take advantage of that here this week.
It looks like Glenn D bought BBAI last Tuesday when it was still much lower. So he's doing great.
Awesome stuff here. RX, this is gapping up here today. And I think there was something on this one. Sarah said, oh, no. Wrong one. Clean slate. RX update tonight after hours. Is this going to be what was this an update on again? I think it says in here. This is on one of its recent phases, right? One of its recent trials is a phase 1, 2. Yeah. So I think you're waiting for an update on this last phase 1, 2 trial that they talked about last week.
BBAI back up to 415 right now. So currently trying to break over that pre-market high that was put in about 20 minutes ago. Volume needs to be better than this though.
On BBAI?
Mm-hmm. Carmen saying, I've been saying that quantum computing breakout will be a turbocharging as AI has been, in my opinion, we haven't really broken out yet. I agree that we haven't broken out of a lot of these moving plays that have really started to take off, like the space theme and the AI, the smaller AI names, quantum, of course.
Yep.
There's some things that haven't really gotten off the ground yet or are just getting started. Absolutely. I think that's true.
Okay. Real good stuff here. Okay, let's take a look at. So there are some stocks that you folks suggested here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to start with Stay Focused here, APO. This is Apollo Global Management. We talked a little bit about Workday earlier. You have the same news catalyst here with ticker APO. Apollo Global Management shares are trading higher after the company announced it will join the S&P 500. Stock is trading up 5.7% here today in the pre-market. Looks like a nice little pop here. This takes us up to 190. There's a nice clean breakout here on Apollo Global. I mean, look at this chart. Look at this long-term chart. Just looking absolutely awesome here. Again, joining the S&P 500, there should be forced buys on this name. So higher we go here. I do expect a 200 test over the next several weeks here, ticker APO. Stay focused, as I mentioned earlier. Big shout out to you. You were talking about this for a while. I never ended up buying this one, sadly, and being punished for that here today, but really, really good move here, ticker APO. Some other names we want to take a look at. We'll start with MicroStrategy. I know we want to take a look at that one all the time. Look what we have here, 13. Look what we have here. We got to figure out. To be fair, I adjusted this right shoulder just a little bit. I know it's a little bit janky. The right shoulder's higher than the left shoulder, but so far we're still kind of looking at this this head and shoulders here. We'll see if this resolves or if we go higher. The good news here, MicroStrategy holding above that 383.40 level that we identified. I'm trying to extend out Chris's support zone. I want to have these on the chart here. There we go. So we're above this level, but we really want to see this kind of trade higher here. Otherwise, we might have a head and shoulders on our hand and a breakdown beneath that 383. We might have a short on our hand here. So yeah,
that loss of the 20-day SMA, I think, might tell us the tale here. Once we lose that, that might be the time where we start to see the entire pattern resolve to the downside.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch for there. Just the loss of that 20-day SMA.
Yep. Sounds good. Big B's, Ryan, you are not a mutual fund. You can't buy everything. You know, I need to remind myself of this more and more, Big B's. I'm absolutely not a mutual fund. You're right. You're right. And you were saying Mike Saylor added another 21,000 Bitcoin. Really quick look at our Bitcoin here. I'll actually give this website again here real quick. This is the website that we've been using to determine who owns what in Bitcoin. This, as of last update, MicroStrategy owns 402,000 Bitcoin, almost 2% of the entire 21 million. What do we call it? Float for Bitcoin? What do we call it? Available coins, mined holdings. Okay, so almost 2% of all Bitcoin out there. Okay, that was MicroStrategy. The other one I wanted to take a look at here, I can't remember. I know someone mentioned this earlier here, but GMM. Someone else, someone unconnected to our happy hour group mentioned GMM. And let me move to a 15-minute chart here. This is Global Mafi AI. Now, a couple of things here. First of all, one of our, what do we call them? One of our happy hour members who really likes to kind of dive into some of these small cap stocks, see if there's any value there that might be worth holding, was looking at this one and thinks that with just how low float this is, this thing could really kind of be a mover. Now, looking at the chart here, this really looks to have put in a bottom right around $3. And actually, it looks like this is kind of a triple bottom here. As mentioned, I actually added just a little starter here. I barely have any of this. I added right down here at 306 on Thursday. Just sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I got lucky. I saw it really kind of selling off. It really felt like tax loss selling, to be honest with you. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a starter down here. We were talking about this in the $4 handle. Here it is down at $3. No other news, it seems. So I'm just going to try some. And sure enough, up almost $1 already as the stock bounced pretty clean off that level here. But GMM, really low float, as I just kind of mentioned here, 1.88 million shares. On average, the stock trades 246,000 shares. So be careful with this one. This is not going to be like some of those bigger names that have a bunch of volume that we talk about all the time. So 13, did you have anything you wanted to share here on GMM?
I think this was also one that was getting really pounded by shorts as well, because before the reverse split, they were still pretty heavily shorted, and now that they've reverse split, they're even more heavily shorted because of the ratio. So this could also be squeezing, or it could be a squeeze in the future. And look at this. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, just again, when you talk about squeeze, keep in mind that low float there can really get juiced here. But what did you have on this one?
Well, we're getting mentions that LDTC and BBAI are doing their breakouts. So it looks like we got what we wanted out of those two.
Okay.
Before we opened.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not in either of these two, but this is all right, 13, because honestly, this is just going to be, does this set up for me again? If it does, great. If not, we'll be patient here. Here's your BBAI. It looks like this is also ripping here. So really good stuff to any of you folks that had these early. They definitely seem to be going here.
It's all part of that theme. Well, at least the BBAI one.
Barry the Great, I think MicroStrategy goes to 500 by Friday. QQQ inclusion on Friday is a huge catalyst. Indeed, it is. We'll see. Tell you what, this MicroStrategy this is one of the reasons why this has been hard for me to kind of swing, is just because the moves are just so crazy here. I could absolutely see this going to 500 by Friday, but I could also see this really kind of breaking our support level and coming into the low 300s by Friday. Just kind of playing devil's advocate here. And real quick, this is what makes the market. Jay saying, I'll take the other side of that. Barron's was negative on MicroStrategy. So this is the type of stuff that you'll see in these battleground names, even amongst our own show. We've got people on both sides. Sorry, 13, get in there.
No, it's okay. And that's great that we have two sides of this, because this is one of the things I was getting at about needing confirmation. That 20-day SMA, when that falls, when we lose, the price stops supporting that, that's going to be an indicator for me. So. Yep.
And we're almost there. We're almost there. That 20 now is starting to line up with the previous support level that we've identified as well. Really good stuff, 13.
Yeah. So I think that for me, it's still a question mark. Could they see 500? Maybe. We've already been there. We weren't there that long ago, but we got there really, really fast. So I think a little bit more cooling is needed. But 500 in the future, of course. I think in the future it's totally going back up there. Just don't know how far.
And real quick here, just we'll cover all angles. We'll cover all sides of this. Jay Rice here, excuse me, mentioning Barron's there. MicroStrategy market value is almost 2.5 times that of the company's Bitcoins, adjusted for $7 billion of debt in the software business. This was the Barron's article, basically reiterating to avoid the stock there. So Jay, I know you had mentioned that. Really good stuff there as well. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else here on MicroStrategy that I'm missing? I don't think so. Nope. Looks like we're all caught up there. Last one here was app. Did you have something?
No, I was just seeing that Tony Couch was mentioning Rhyme. This is a penny stock. Didn't really look at this one, but it looks like it's moving on the fact that it just closed a 9.5 million public offering.
Okay. Real good stuff there. App Lovin'. This is the last one that I had on my list from what you guys wanted to take a look at here. I remember back to November when this thing gap traded up by like 46%, and we said to yourself, man, this is crazy. Stock moved up that much, and look at it now. It has just continued to move. This has been a double since then. It actually kind of reminds me of Sezzle here. I'll be honest, I missed this one. No position here for me on App Lovin'. Every time I see this company, I think of Mick Lovin' from Superbad, and that doesn't really help here. Look how extended. We are almost 3 times the value of the 200-day moving average here. 200-day moving average, 117.57. Current price here, 378. Down almost 6% here in the pre-market. Did we have any news?
No, I mean, this thing is just really extended. Yeah. So, and if you look at the daily chart, you can see over the past several days, this thing has been really putting some not long wicks on the top of their candles there. So that's usually an indicator of topping out. We may get some pullback in this one. So again, with the 20-day SMA, that's going to be the first level I'd be looking for. There's another level you could probably draw on, maybe 350. That's a nice psychological level that might provide some support initially, but seems to me 20-day SMA is going to be the one to really watch for.
Okay, good stuff there on app.
Yep. We did not cover AT&T, Daniel, but we can.
Yeah, might as well. Want me to flip that up? I can do that right now. I didn't have anything prepared for AT&T here, but here you go. What did you want to do?
Well, let's see. I mean, this thing has been on a tear for a while.
Tell you what, that $15 buy, really good. You're almost at a double from that. Really, really good.
Yep, doing pretty good in this one. I've got this for a very long term. They still pay a great dividend, even though that yield is shrinking with the price getting this high. They're just on track to really get back to just being a solid telecoms company. After that, they spun off, or I'm sorry, got the Warner Brothers company taken care of, got it separated from their books. This has been doing much better. They did have to cut the dividend in order to get back on track here, but so far it's looking like they are being rewarded for that. Was the question, I think, was is it going to go to a certain price? And I don't recall what price that was he was looking for. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to this one, being that it's been on a pretty good run, I still
24. Well, 24 looks 24? To be the price. I mean, 24. We're 12 cents away from that. Looks like it actually already tested that last week.
Yeah, I'm thinking that there's a chance it may even get up to 25 before we start to see some real resistance and maybe even some selling in this. So do I think it could get to 24? Absolutely. Is it going to do that today? Maybe. It's not too far away. It's 12 cents away from being able to do that. Actually, in the pre-market, it's 9. So yeah, I would say that it's entirely possible for it to get to 24 today. But 25 is where I would start to think, well, this thing might need to come back in a little before it goes higher.
Okay. Good stuff there on T. Good stuff.
24 on hold. 24. Like I said, I think this is still a little extended, but it's not overextended yet. The RSI is at 65, and I still think that it could move up to towards 25. But once it gets there, I would expect some selling. Whether or not it holds, I don't know if I can really answer that. I would think that if it does start to see some selling pressure, given that we have some demand zones beneath it, there's levels where I could see it getting support. But I don't know about holding 24. I think that's just still a big question mark for me.
Yeah, I mean, even if it did hold 24 and maybe trade sideways, that'll give you some time for these moving averages to to catch up. Excuse me. This will also bring the RSI in a little bit there on T. So
now I think another thing you're going to want to watch for is what happens with the rate decision, because this is affected by rates as well. This company has a ton of debt, and they have it well managed, but they're always looking for opportunities to restructure their debt, usually when interest rates are lower. I don't know exactly when they have some debt coming up that's due, but I'd have to look into that for you. But at the same time, the rate decision, I think, is going to really, really help this one, Verizon, the other telecoms, since they're so heavily leveraged.
Okay.
Rate decision is this week. I believe is it Wednesday or Thursday? Hold on, let me double check.
I have the CPI on Wednesday and the PPI and jobless claims on Thursday.
Let me double check that for you.
Well, while you're doing that, Jay's asking, is it me or is there just not much fear in the market? Jay, I don't.
No fear.
It's just you. I don't see any fear. I'm glad you said the same thing, 13. We actually talked about that last week on Happy Hour. There doesn't seem to be fear anywhere in this market. Anywhere.
Rate decision is going to be at the FOMC meeting from December 17th to 18th. So not this Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't have that on my list of economic events here, but I didn't want to. Thought maybe I just made a mistake. But nope, next week.
CPI and PPI is the big one to watch for this week.
Yep. CPI comes first Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern. Okay, got about 9 minutes here till we open. Anything else that you folks want to take a look at? Does anyone have any trades lined up or anything like that? I'd be curious to know.
Well, I could speak on a little bit on a thought I've had regarding this fearless market. It seems like this is kind of a more of a brave market, not so much fearless, but just kind of like a brave market. And I say that because the yen carry trade kind of like I guess you'll say showed the market's hand. With how fast that unwound and how much the VIX spiked. I think the VIX went to like over 60 or up to 60. I've never seen it that high. So I think this market is just really, really, entwined in a game of chicken. And I feel like the when the big event, the big piece of news that causes the market to sell off, it's going to be a big sell off, and it's going to be very fast. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I think this market is just being brave. I don't think it's fearless. It's just very courageous because they're basically playing a game of chicken. I think that's what we're looking at.
And one of the things that, again, that we've been kind of talking about recently is that who's going to blink first, right? And so far, it certainly hasn't been a move to the downside. We continue to trade up here, so we'll see. We'll see if we get that. Excuse me. AMD, one more stock that I wanted to really quickly mention here this morning. AMD, Bank of America Securities, downgraded Advanced Micro Devices to neutral. So this isn't just a price target. This is an actual downgrade. Lowers the price target here to 155. Stock's currently at 136, down only about 1.5% here today. But that's why this is moving down. I did really quickly wanted to check in on Nvidia before we open here again. Nvidia down 2.3%, still on the back of that news that we got out of China. China investigates Nvidia over suspected violation of anti-monopoly law.
Oh, wow.
We'll see if
that should carry a lot of weight. That should be, oh God, those number one with that,
13. I caught the sarcasm early. Really quick, I'm just going to send you that link. Just in case
and that's fine if AMD wants to fall. I'm looking to build a position. I have some AMD right now, but I'm looking to build a large position for a longer term hold. I have orders out for this one at 133. I think that already filled, and then 128 is my next area to fill. So hopefully I'll get that. But I'm looking for AMD to do better longer term, like a year or more.
Okay. Really awesome. Izzy, we'll take a look at Duo here right now. Ticker DUO. Good morning, Amanda. Great to see you here.
Replay Game Lab. I do like AVGO for a longer hold as well. I think that's a great company. We do have earnings coming up, so I don't know that I would want to buy and hold into this one. I feel like there's going to be some kind of a bigger unravel in tech coming, and that's going to create some opportunities for us to get into all these really good semi and AI names. So hopefully we'll get that at some point soon.
I was going to say that you just took the words out of my mouth. I was like, hopefully we're going to get that pullback, because I too am waiting for that for several of these names, namely Palantir, which we actually talked about already here today. We'll see if we get that. We'll see how long it ends up taking to get a down move here. Duo getting mentioned here. This moving with the Chinese headline. Duo up 80% here in the pre-market. Nothing else other than that news about U.S. listed Chinese stocks. So we'll see if this actually affects some of the other smaller stocks. I know recently, again, because of happy hour, we were talking about this WETH stock. This really does not seem affected by any of that. Okay, I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. Let's take a look and see what the scanners are doing. I want to get this queued up for SPY real quick.
Stocks only go up.
Hey, that's
eventually they do.
LDTC currently at 156. This is going to be one that we want to watch here today.
No, this is one that was that did the breakout to 194. We were talking about that this pre-market. So we've come back in pre-market. Same thing with BBAI. We also got some pullback in that one. So we're getting close to the open. If these two get support in the areas that they're at right now, we could see another pop out of the open. Just be careful. Some of these MACDs indicating that these do want to go lower, but I'm looking at these candles here, especially with BBAI. This one looks like it's trying to get support around the 415 level.
That LDTC looks like that's trading up here right ahead of the open.
Big resistance area around 180 for LDTC. It's coming up to
that
right
one more
now.
time. I'm sorry.
Big resistance area at 180 for LDTC. It's coming up to it right now.
Yep. That was that initial impulse move there. Jay Harris wants to take a look at Lulu. Is that continuing?
No problem. And then I also saw Elon wanted the assets we were covering GSAT. We didn't cover GSAT, but we do have some other satellite plays like SATL that was moving. As far as GSAT goes, that one doesn't look like it's really doing that much in the pre-market, but keep an eye on it in case we get some relationship trading going if the SATL stock starts to move.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Yeah, Jay Rice. All those semi names are all struggling lately. Absolutely. And we could see that continue, especially with these the supply chains shifting around. There you go.
We were waiting for that, frankly. We were waiting for traders to move out of some of those names. So that
could continue well into the next month and the next presidency.
Yeah. TIGR here, that's right at the top of the pre-market range. Did we have anything on this? Nope. Up about 15% here.
It's a China name, so if all the China names are that are US listed are going to start moving up, then that's going to go up as well.
Worksport, we talked about this one last week. This looks like this might flirt with $1 here today. MGX popping.
And Jay Walker, if that's working for you, keep going. Absolutely. If anybody finds something that just, even if it's one stock that just has been making you money and continues to work, keep making it work for you.
Yeah.
And if it stops working, that's when you're done and you move to something else, or you just keep it on your radar in case it looks like it's setting up again. But that's why we say don't get married to these things. And sounds like you are doing a great job just stating that.
Tom, yeah, we can absolutely put Netflix on the list. We'll ask Anne-Marie about that. No problem at all.
40 seconds. And
all right, here we go.
Izzy's looking at Amazon. That
was a great call from Izzy last week. I mean, I just credit where credit is due. Izzy was talking about this one last week. It went straight up, seemingly like every day this thing was trading higher.
Oh my gosh, I haven't looked at a daily chart of this thing since last week, but this looks like it needs to cool off. Like, calm down, Amazon.
But by the way, just another swing trade here. I did take McDonald's calls last week on Friday, looking for a move above 304 here, and then a potential gap fill up to 314. But
perfect.
We'll see. All right,
that was a great timing. And yes, McDonald's. Yes, that was a good trade there too. All right, so LDTC.
We'll see. It's got to be a good trade. It hasn't been yet.
LDTC right at VWAP, going a little bit lower. Let's see, what's BBAI doing? This one trying to get some support from its VWAP as well. Might have to be patient with some of these. They're looking a little weak out of the open here. See if we can find something that's got a little bit more strength. Looks like SONN might have some strength to go up here. See what we get out of this one. There's a bit of a wall at 460, but this one is looking better than some of those other ones. Let's see what we get with that one.
SONN went right to the VWAP here. Looks like Crow took some there. SONN got that VWAP at 424 and 425. SONN.
Yeah, these are just kind of percolating right now. Don't see any moves up. It's kind of going sideways, but pushing. They're trying to get going here, but don't see anything I want to jump into quite yet.
Good morning, Wiss. It's great to see you here today. SONN, it's trying to hold that VWAP there. Here we go. See if we can get through 450. Brought in a bid there at 436. There's 450. All right, out 1 for 1 here. Nice little scalp there on SONN. Good stuff there, Crow. Good stuff there, Crow. 1 for 1. We'll take that. We'll take that. And I might still go here, but I just wanted to get some green on the screen.
Yeah, it's really trying to push up there. But if it starts to look like it's not going to get past 460, then maybe that time to find something else, because it's trying to get up there right now.
Is he mentioning an Archer pullback? That would be fine. Let this thing pull all the way back to 5. I'd feel good about it.
There we go. SONN doing a little bit better now. Just needed to get over 460. Let's see if we can hold it. Okay. Nope, that was probably the trade right there for the moment. But if folks are in this one, it's looking okay. Not breaking down, but not necessarily breaking out at the moment.
SATL approaching its VWAP here. Watch that 509 area on SATL volumes. Yep. I want to see this volume really kind of push here. We'll see. SATL.
About 10-cent spread in SATL right now. So a little spready.
Yeah, indeed. Only talking about MP for a potential swing here.
Looks like
materials.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that one I was taking a look at after we got the news of the antimony, gallium, and germanium sources, supply chains being cut off or diverted by China. So MP, that's one that could really benefit from such actions. Getting support from looks like the 20-day SMA and the 500 right in the same area. Let's see if that particular area holds. So let's just call it an even 20 because that's about where they are. Just slightly beneath that $20 handle. $20 is going to be the resistance handle I'd be looking at MP.
This is actually a pretty decent looking daily chart here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, let's take a look at Reddit too because they had news.
Yeah, so I covered Reddit here this morning. It was actually the first piece of news on my list here. Let me go to a bigger chart here for Reddit. Morgan Stanley actually upgraded Reddit today, not just a price target, but an upgrade. Went from neutral to overweight here, raises the price target to 200. Reddit, of course, popped here out of the open. Look at this one, 13. Do you have any possible tech trade on Reddit?
Well, so the whole thing with me on why Reddit is doing good is the TikTok ban, because I look at this as a social media company.
Okay.
It's more than that. I realize that, but that's kind of where I'm placing it in as far as the trading space goes. I get that there may have some other themes associated with that. I think somebody mentioned that it might have an AI theme attached to it. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case, but this one looks like it wants to fill that gap back down to where we were on Friday. And then once that happens, we could probably see it go back up towards that 200 level. But looking a little bit extended up here, I think we need to see some cooling off before this rips to 200.
Yeah, that was basically what I said earlier, and I just kind of added in that I was offsides on that. It's Mark mentioning it is an AI repo, one of the best in the world. Okay.
So there's that angle too.
Real quickly here, just a check in on some of these smaller names. SONN still hovering right around that VWAP. Glad I actually took that off. Actually, here we go. Just as I said that, literally as I said that, it started to push. Watch the volume here. If we push above this consolidation area, volume actually
475.
Pretty good here so far.
There we go. It's trying to take 475. That's currently the big resistance area it has to get through, and it got pushed back down. Now we're getting multiple wicks on these candles here, so that's an indication of weakness. We lose VWAP, we might see this go slightly lower. LDTC, by the way, that's halted to the downside.
Sorry, GXAI right to its VWAP here. Watch GXAI if it can get through there. You were saying LDT, what was it, LDTC?
Yep, that's
I'll get it right here eventually. You're halted to the downside here. Yikes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a huge pull either, but this, once it unhalts, it might start to really get going. I'd say 130 is going to be the next support level, and I'm not even sure that's going to hold. All right, so we have some other ones moving, like the GXAI. Now, if this one gets going, because it's trying to chew through some of this consolidation from this morning, so that area is going to be close to where we're at, like 4 to, let's call it 4 to 430. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe 4 to 450 would be about the range I'd be looking at where it needs to get through. And if it can get through that, this is likely going to head up to the pre-market high of 489.
Interesting note here real quick on these VWAPs. I've got 402 on the TradingView VWAP, as you see here on screen, but in my broker, I've got this at 386. We actually just crossed that here, and there were some pretty good volume levels there. Actually, they're taking out the offer there at 4.
Yep, they are really
refilled.
Yep, 4 looks like that's the level to get through at the moment.
I agree with you.
And they're starting to bring in some bids.
Yeah, they tried to. There we go. They deleted it. There's a battle going on here.
Yes, there is.
GXAI.
The fight is on.
Live. The fight is on. 407, your high print there. See if we end up taking that out. There's been multiple pushes up to this area. Now we're pulling back off that level here. GXAI.
Yeah, so that'll be a level to watch for in GXAI if we get some more volume to push it up to 4 again. We just need to see it expand and take out that 4 and go higher. But that's a really good level, and that's right at the start of that demand zone or supply zone that I was just mentioning. So we need a lot of volume to get through all that pre-market price action, and then we can probably end up seeing this fly. It just has to get over 489.
It's pulling off the spot now here, though. Amanda saying, good God, look at Tesla. I have to click the right thing in order for us to do that here.
Oh, it's over 400.
Okay, so yeah, it made that move right through 400 here, and this looks like this is going to continue to move here on Tesla. Watch that 405 level. Amanda, were you trading this one? I can't remember if this was a trade that you currently had on. Tesla looking pretty good here, though.
1450 is the all-time high in Tesla. I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be a lot of profit taking if this gets up to 420. Just a thought.
Maybe even 420.69. We'll see.
Yes, exactly. This is the market that we're in, folks. That absolutely could happen.
Memes.
The stonks. As someone just mentioned earlier, stonks only go up.
Yeah.
All right, SONN, I'm taking a look at this one right now. This is really starting to look bad with these upper shadows it's getting, and it lost my
let me bring it up. Sorry, I'm a little behind you here, 13.
No worries. I already had this on my screen, so a little bit.
Oh, yeah, big pull here on SONN.
So the big question mark is going to be, can 4 hold? And if you look at the pre-market high, not the pre-market high, but if you look at, there was a pre-market high at 8:55, almost 9 o'clock, where it got up to that almost $4. It was like $3.98. And then we also had the last candle from just 5 minutes ago that came down to that same $4 level. So $4 looks like the big support area. We lose that, this is likely going to be going back to start.
Okay, this does look a little heavy here. 13, good stuff on that one. Let's see, XIII. This is okay. So this actually pulled back. This making another run at the VWAP here on XIII. That $4 level seems to still be in play here. I actually did see a little size there added at 403.13, so maybe they're guarding a couple of cents above. XIII, this did bounce a little bit here, though.
SONN, this is, we took it off the screen, really starting to get weak. Lost 4, got down into the 380s. Getting some support right now, but it needs to recapture VWAP if it's going to go any higher. I'm currently looking at this going lower for the time being. Looks like BBAI is trying to get back above VWAP. It's currently in the process of recapturing. XIII, this thing still trying to get and hold above 4, but looking pretty good. Still above VWAP. It just needs a lot more volume to get through the 4 handle and go higher, because there's some big sell orders in the way.
Yeah, and again, I still see that size there at 403 on XIII. Duo halted to the upside. That was a crow call. Oh my, here we go. That was a crow call. That continuing to move higher here. Duo, DUO.
All right, so it looks like the China names might actually start doing pretty well. We've talked before about how they've been really beaten up and heavily shorted. So some of these could see some really big moves in a short period of time.
Well, here's Alibaba. So speaking of some of the China names, I do kind of want to focus on some of these bigger China names here. Alibaba, after that gap, taking another leg higher here. Excuse me, 92.60. Looks like it's taking out 92.5. Pinduoduo was another setup that we talked about here. That going for the pre-market highs. Watch a potential break there of 112 on Pinduoduo, ticker PDD. And then Baidu was the other one that we were looking at, although that area was less attractive. Baidu looking exactly like Baba here today as we continue to take the next leg up. Yin doing the exact same thing here. Remember, that's your bull levered ETF to the upside.
What's one for me?
What did you say?
C dot saying that's one for me. That's one for you, 13. I'm wondering what he's referring to. So you'll have to let me know what you're referring to, but thanks. BBAI, this one looking like it's trying to get above 425. I would think that seems to be the big resistance area. It's gone up to 4. It's gone beyond 420 and came back in. So maybe 420 is also a big resistance area.
Oh my God! Look at INOD, dude.
Oh, jeez.
INOD up another 18%. This is another AI name that we've kind of talked about. This one, not one of the popular ones. We were talking about this in the teens here. Stock $50 now, INOD.
So guess what else is going up that has AI in the name that we've also traded?
C3.ai?
No.
AI, literally ticker AI?
No. Nope. What tattoos on every girl's back that was you knew in college?
AI tramp stamp. Oh God. Did we really have to? Oh my.
That one's moving up too. This is a super,
Yeah,
trade
is done on this one, I feel like.
I feel like that too. Be careful with if you're going to trade tramp stamp. I think the big move might have already been in.
By the way, that big Tesla move up to 405, that got completely pulled. 7-point swing right back down here to the lows. Now, if we don't break this, maybe this sets up for another one.
I'm sorry, I was reading something else.
Tesla, I'm looking for. Are we setting up for another potential up move here if we hold this area? We had a 7-point rip right out of the gate, came right back down to balance. And this DXYZ, is this halted? So you guys trading this Destiny ETF? This was halted to the down. Is halted right now, isn't it? Yes, halted to the downside here, 53.41. Wow.
Tesla, I think the thing to watch for with this one, if we're going to get more downside, it's going to just let it fill the gap. That's what I think is happening here. Is we're going to see a gap fill to the downside, and that is going to fill at 389.50. So that could be what we're seeing here. SONN, this is really starting to look like we're going to get that downside I mentioned down to 385 on this one. Currently getting support from the 375 level. That was one of the levels that these pre-market candles gave us. Also, where the 15 EMA is on the 5-minute. If it loses this one, I think it's probably end up going to lose $3 as well. What's so funny?
Amanda, just absolutely hilarious. Every girl's back 13. I worry.
No. Every girl's back as you knew in college.
Oh God.
Well, you know what?
It's
I stand by that. Every girl's back I knew in college, where I was from.
I'm laughing.
I stand by it. I stand by that.
Okay. Enough fun here. LDTC, maybe that sell-off is kind of done. We did trade right back down to the pre-market support area that held. This curled back up. We'll see if that continues to move back up. Someone was mentioning UAMI earlier here today, the antimony.
You get a little pullback in that one? Nope.
Yeah, sure did. But that was met with buyers here. Hollow is also on the list. I don't know if you want to go there. Hollow is on the list here.
Jeez, this thing's back again.
Workday, we talked about this one here joining the S&P. This pulled a little bit, but right back down to balance here.
All right, let's look at some of these other names here. So SONN, yeah, that's 375 is I think the last spot for it, and it's lost it. I think this is going to go lower.
SONN, huh?
MSTR pushed up though. That almost hit. Well, actually, that hit the 398.
Man, I got lucky on SONN, didn't I? Scalp right out of the gate here. Okay, sorry, you were looking at MicroStrategy, MSTR.
Mm-hmm.
See if we recapture 400 here. That might be a springboard.
Shoes belong on my feet. Huh.
Is that what you've been doing wrong this whole time?
That must be it.
Man, oh man. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way here.
Yeah, we're walking on my hands. And anyway, Duo popped up to 128 and then reversed and went down pretty quickly. It is now halted to the downside. Bitcoin trying to push up to 100K. It's almost there.
Well, you had to be quick with that Duo move, Crow. Hopefully you hit that one. RXRX, this is the one that we were waiting on data for. This actually might be trying to go higher here.
Hey, that's a good name to call it. Palantir.
What?
C. saying impressive gains with Palantir. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Palantir.
Oh, that sounds like a voice text gone wrong, frankly.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Oh, man. Smoked tuna is in the Maldives.
Maldives.
Might as well just call it. I mean, look, all of the pictures that I've seen from this are incredible. My buddy went on vacation here, and I was jealous every single day. So, Smoked Tuna, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you're doing well. And hopefully it's beautiful where you're at.
MSTR knocking on the door at 400. Let's see.
ASST penny stock with volume expansion going towards the highs.
Looks like
real popping here.
LDTC is probably gonna halt here, and then it's gonna likely might start doing the upside halts. Look at what's happening with the LDTC. We just got a huge amount of buyers that come in. Now it's halted. Let's see what we get with this. This could end up turning around and going up to $2. Some of these other names, SATL.
Oh, I missed this one. Sorry, I missed this in the morning rundown here. I definitely should have covered this one. The real shares are trading higher after Wells Fargo upgraded the stock from equal weight to overweight, raised its price target from 4 to 15. The stock's up 32% here today.
Seeing mention of Lunar. That looks nice. Up almost 3.5% today. The space watch list look like. There it is. So it looks like we've got a mix of things today. The only ones on my list that are down are Redwire, Rocket Labs, Sidus Space, and the UFO ETF. Everything else is looking good. AST is up 13% today.
Jane mentioning real best place to shop. You know what's funny about this is that in my previous career where I worked for a diamond and gem pricing company, that job was fun, by the way. I love gemstones, have my own collection here. But besides that, one of the things that I was told how great these are. I know a couple of gemologists that end up going here. They look through a whole bunch of the stuff that they have. It's like clothes and accessories, right? I've never shopped here, but I've heard really good stuff about the merchandise here. Stock's up 31% here. I wish I had more for you there, but yes. Okay, it is. Yeah, see, and I think this was maybe it was one of these places. Jamal just found like a Cartier diamond. Anyway, I don't know if that was the store. I don't want to start a rumor.
Looks like we started to get some buyers in SONN. Not sure if it's turning around here or not, but it's we've got a little bit of a green happening here. It seems like there's some buyers that are trying to keep this up above 375. Still think 375 is the level to watch for in this one. If we start closing these 5-minute candles underneath that level, still think that we're going to end up losing 3. Bitcoin now over 100K again. Looks like ZEO found support
here. The Bitcoin, sorry to interrupt you here. Bitcoin futures chart here going for 101K as we speak.
That's what I'm laughing at.
Look, Amanda's got all of the jokes here.
Look, and I learned a lot there.
So I cannot take credit for being a gemologist because I did not complete the program. I did get my certification in colored stones and diamonds though, and I was on track to become a gemologist. I would say amateur at best. I don't have the actual title. I don't have the GG title, unfortunately. But Tiger, you will keep tuning in so you can keep getting the new info. We look to have new info for you every day here. I can't wait to hear stories from when 13 was went to a women's prison for college. Those are the stories that I can't wait to get. Okay, we got to focus here on the market. You guys, the jokes are too much here today. SONN, this might be holding here. I'd be careful with this one, though. Wait for that volume to expand to confirm a move. Volume has just completely died off here. Duo, it looks like the same thing is happening. Watch this volume stick and see where it finishes. ASST looking like that might go for new highs. Did Tesla firm up at all? Yeah, Tesla. VWAP. Actually, I might take a look here at Tesla. I might try some here in Tesla.
C-Dot, are you implying that you think this market is really extended? Because if that's the case, I'm right there with you. I think this market is really extended and needs to chill out and cool out for a little bit.
Tesla here. Let me tell you something. So you guys want to know, Let me tell you, those gem shows that you can go to are some of the best things to just window shopping at gem shows alone is fun. The people that work there are awesome. The people in the gem business are awesome. Tesla here, I'm kind of interested in this. Tesla back down right beneath its VWAP. I wouldn't be shocked if Tesla reclaims this and kind of moves. We might have a multiple dollar move here on Tesla. My chart is effed in my broker, though. Let me see if I can change this around. There we go. There we go. We got it fixed here. We got it fixed here.
Oh gosh, Amanda, you really created something here. Yeah, Jay Rice, a lot of money to save on booze. Jeez, dude. I don't know if I can finish that sentence, but yeah, Valentine's days were weird. So anyway,
you guys are. I love the can of worms that have been opened here. Is something else.
Oh man,
something else here.
So yeah, LDTC, we got that on halt and it popped up.
Really quickly, sorry, Carmen. This was my forte. The Tucson Gem Show is indeed the daddy of all of them. If you folks can ever get to the Tucson Gem Show, you should go. I used to go to this every single year. Most of the stuff that I own were bought at these gem shows. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
So LDTC was it opened, popped up to 185, and then came right back into VWAP and halted again. So
I'm taking some Tesla here really quick. So just letting you know, taking it small. Here's LDTC.
As he's picking up Archer at the dip, he got it at 748. ZEO reversing maybe. I thought I saw it doing that. Yeah, off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Nice reversal, back up to almost back up to VWAP. Just needs to recapture that. Still has several EMAs in the way it has to get through, including some sell orders at a pretty good size at 250 and 750. But if we start getting some expanding volume, it could chew those up as well.
SONN here, trying to curl up out of this area. I said watch the volume. We've got two volume sticks that were higher than the last. This looks like it's trying to reverse here.
Holding that 375 level at the moment. That was the level it needed to hang on to for reversal. So far, we're getting that. I'll say it one more time. If it loses 75 and starts having these candles close underneath that, I think we're going to see it go under 3.
For those of you trading the quantum theme here, QMCO, this starting to rip. This has been one of the bigger quantum moves. We're actually getting the volume pop that we wanted to see here too. QMCO starting to move to the upside.
Hey, great mention there, Izzy. Soundhound's moving.
We'll take a look at that here real quick. I'm still waiting for Tesla here. It's just kind of flirting around with this VWAP area. I want this to really push away from here. Here is your Soundhound. 1550 looks to be the spot it needs to take out here. Tried once today.
It already put in a new high over the pre-market, so that's good. But we need to see this thing get into the 16 handle, I think. That's what we would want to see. So it might be flagging here. It just needs another 5-10 minutes maybe, and we'll get some better idea of where this is headed. But yes, that 1550, we need to break out over that, and we need to take it up to 16 and capture that. Here we go with Soundhound losing that 375. So should end up getting down to 3 or lower at some point. Got some support. It looks like some bids that might keep it up around 350, but doesn't look great. So at the moment for SONN.
GXAI. So here we go. So look, we sold off that VWAP there, came right back into that 350 area. Now we just took VWAP out and moving higher here. Biggest volume stick of the day here on GXAI. No position for me. Really good move here. Good call here. Sideshow, clean slate. You guys are all over this one. Kale, looks like you're on this one too. Awesome stuff, folks, if you were able to hit this one. I will say, if you added anywhere near this 350 area, I would for sure be trimming into this move, but this has the juice. Volume telling us this can go higher here. GXAI. Yep,
this is where we needed to see it get through that consolidation. It's chewing it up right now. We're almost through it. I think I said 430 to 450 is about where that consolidation ends. So we're getting pretty close to there. Big amount of sell orders at 445. So that really fits in line with that resistance level I just gave you at 450. Let's see this. Oh, and BBAI is going too.
It sure is. Right back up to that pre-market high. Watch the 440 level there, BBAI.
Beautiful, folks. This theme is still going strong, and it has AI in the name. If it's got AI in the name, it might be doing well.
Clean slate, booking gains on GXAI. Ring that register, baby. Let's go.
Nice. Fairchild also mentioning CAN. This is the manufacturer of ant machines for Bitcoin mining.
The ant miners, right?
Mm-hmm. So that one sold, probably sold with Bitcoin, and then it rallied with it again. So we're over 100,000, continuing to move up with Bitcoin. This looks like it's moving up with it. And hey, people are buying Bitcoin. Apparently, they're mining it too. So this company might continue to have business for a little while.
I'm just going to run through the list here. SONN looks like that. Man, that little fake curl there breaking down, probably no good.
Yep, down to 350 now. Yeah, it's losing those levels. This looks like I still think this might be going under 3.
Okay. Tesla's still at the VWAP there. I'm still kind of waiting that out. I'll let you guys know. BBAI still at that 540. Tiger, this with the Chinese name, with the Chinese news here. This is actually trading higher here. Futu, that would also be in that same basket. Futu.
Oh, great mention by Tamed Craziness on ASTS. 5-year contract with Vodafone broke this morning. That's great news. And at this point, like I think we've mentioned this a number of weeks ago when we were talking about the space themes at first, but as far as this company and Starlink being competitors, Starlink isn't going to be a competitor with ASTS quite yet because of their particular satellites don't have the right radio band for some of these older cellular phones. So ASTS is going to be in a good position for a little while until Starlink starts coming out with some newer satellites that can cover all those different bandwidths. That's the edge ASTS has at the moment.
Pinduoduo right at that pre-market high. Watch a potential 112 breakout there on Pinduoduo. You guys are mentioning BBAI as that continued. That took out 440 there. Good stuff. Sideshow.
All right, I need to put some levels in here for BBAI, see where we're going. This thing's going to 480.
Okay. Well,
480 is the next level I have.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, it is 10 o'clock and it's a Monday. You know what that means. It's special guest time. Let's bring on Matt Maley. Matt, happy Monday. How are you doing here? How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend. Enjoyed a lot of the college football games. It was a lot of fun to watch some real exciting games. And although I must say, I'm talking to some people in New York who are on the verge of heart attacks after the New York Yankees lost Soto to the Mets. And geez, you'd think the world was coming to an end, but
I'll tell you what, that Subway series, that's going to have a lot more meaning now that Soto went over there, isn't it? Let me ask you really quick, just because you brought it up, are you one of the angry people that Alabama didn't make it, or do you think they made the right call with SMU?
It's so hard, but I saw the SMU game. The way they came back was really fun. You lose 3 games, that makes it very tough. I realize they're in a much tougher, the SEC. But these. I guess my big thing is these conference games, the conference championship games, have to mean something. And you play in it, you play well. And to be honest with you, there's too much money involved in those conference games that they're never going to make. They're always going to make sure they mean something. So. I certainly understand. Is Alabama the better team? Maybe, but when you lose 3 games, I don't care what league you're in. That just makes it tough argument to say you deserve to be in.
Completely agree with you. Sports are about winning. When you win more, you get more stuff. I totally agree. Okay, really good stuff here, Matt. Looking at the market here for SPY, I know we're basically flat here. We've continued to print new all-time highs. barely, and then the market kind of comes in. Really, it just kind of looks like it's drifting or holding up here. We did have some news here this morning. Some of the Chinese stocks are up. Palantir, I know we've talked about Palantir with you here before. Palantir printed in the 80s here today. I know we were talking about Walmart being extended, Palantir maybe being extended, the market being extended. What do you see here on Monday? What's your kind of lay of the land of the entire market?
I mean, I understand why Palantir is up again. You know, they are not just AI, they're a great technology company, but they're very heavily involved in military contracts. And the world is getting a more more dicey place. I mean, a lot of people are hoping this thing with Syria can actually create a better situation in the Middle East. But history tells us that there's usually, when those countries, a big leader like that, especially iron-fisted leader, leaves or gets pushed out or killed or whatever, it usually falls into chaos, I'm afraid. And so people are worried about that. And will the Middle East become a bigger problem? And I've loved Palantir for a long, long time. I still love it on a longer-term basis. But you're right. It is getting quite extended, quite overbought. So a lot of people on one side of the boat. So I'm not going to be chasing it up here. I'm not necessarily be making negative bets on it right now. But I'm not going to be chasing it. It's just getting a little too extended on the technical side of things.
Yeah, totally with you there. Okay, some of the other news that we got this morning has to do with some of the Chinese stocks. They jumped here this morning. I know you've talked about some of these Chinese stocks before. Anything change here for you? Do you like any of these? What do you think about what's going on here?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, I've been saying for a while now that we saw that kind of bottom back in about a month or so ago, and I've been saying, hey, listen, President Xi is not going to. He's come out and said, we're going to do whatever it takes. Now, he hasn't done it as quickly as people have been hoping, but for him to come out and say that, and his lieutenants to be saying that, and have that market go back down, he would make him look very weak, which he doesn't want to look, especially with President Trump coming into office. So I think this is the first part. They're just talking about monetary policy right now. And some people are saying, hey, yeah, well, that's great, but we're not seeing any fiscal. I think that's going to come. So again, with Alibaba up 6% or more on the day, am I going to chase it up here on this initial move? No. But any kind of a dip, I think these stocks are good buys. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, this is going to be another huge rally next year, but I think they're going to hold up well, because I just think that the political issues involved with President Xi are too important to him, and I think they're going to support the market no matter what their underlying fundamental values. Sorry, I can't talk this morning. But I guess my point is that even if things get a little bit weaker in China, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep it from really falling apart, and they're going to do whatever it takes, I think, to buoy their market.
Okay. Real good stuff there. Just kind of along the China theme here. We also had some news that pertained to Nvidia here. China investigates Nvidia over a suspected violation of anti-monopoly law. Thought maybe this is just kind of a back and forth with some of the chip curbs that have recently been in the news. One of the things that we've been talking about recently, we want to see some traders trade out of some of these high flyer semiconductors led by Nvidia. Do you have any thoughts on this piece of news here? Are you?
Well, I'm a little worried. I mean, we got down and it tested its 50-day moving average about a week ago, a little over a week ago, and was able to bounce back rather quickly. But that's been a key support level in the last couple of months. It came back down and tested it again today, and now it's trying to hold it. That's nice. I'm a little worried that it might break at this time. You always have to be leery of that. And the reason why I'm worried about it, we also got a downgrade today in advanced micro devices, which is down a lot more. And then that in turn means that the SMH semiconductor ETF is lower again today. And again, it's not getting crushed or anything like that, but it is lower. And we see that 200-day moving average. Remember back in August, we did dip below that line on an intraday basis only. Back when the whole carry trade was kind of falling apart at the very beginning of August, it was able to bounce back before the market closed and went back down, tested it in September, saw another big bounce then. Now it's come back down and tested it again recently. The bounce hasn't been as big, and now it's starting to curl back over again. So I'm worried, will this be the time where it finally breaks below that 200-day moving average? If that happens, that's going to be a problem. I mean, the tech group, the chip groups have been a key leading indicator for the stock market for decades, really. And it has been lagging. We all know that the S&P is making new highs, the Mag 7 index making new highs, even the Russell 2000 making new highs, and this group is lagging. That's exactly what happened in 2018, where it lagged and it topped out in spring. The rest of the market kept going up and it lagged. And then finally in the fourth quarter of 2018, they fell hard. And the rest of the market fell with it. So be careful here. I'm keeping a close eye on that. We're all looking for the Santa Claus rally, all looking, the momentum has been great. But if we're going to get a surprise with bullishness so strong, we're ripe for a surprise decline. Not that it'll be a major decline, but we're surprised. We're kind of ripe for to get people caught off sides. And I think if that happens, the real signal, the catalyst, will be a breakdown in these stocks. So keep an eye on the SMH, and of course, Nvidia is going to be the most important one to watch in that group.
Yeah, absolutely here. Okay, and then real quickly, just as some of the economic events, just thinking about the SPY here. We've got CPI on Wednesday, we've got PPI on Thursday, and then we have the Fed decision next week. Are you positioning yourself ahead of that, or are you kind of going to react to that, or are you trying to position ahead of those prints?
Well, we do need to be careful on this CPI number, and PPI for that matter. But these inflation, that's the one thing that people are worried about when it comes to what's going. But saying, hey, the one thing we have, a lot of things you have going for you in terms of Trump with the tax cuts and deregulation, that's bullish. Earnings growth has been fine, although I don't think it's been strong enough to justify the market. But that's neither here nor there. But the other thing, of course, is hey, the Fed is cutting interest rates, so that's bullish. Well, what happens if if this number is the one area where Trump's policies could have a problem, create some problems, is these tariffs tend to be inflationary. In fact, they're almost always inflationary. If we were already seeing a tick up in inflation right now before the tariffs are even implemented, that's going to scare a few people on the bond market, that it would cause the Fed probably, even though I do think they're going to cut rates next week. I don't, that'll people start pulling back their standing on, or their expectations for 2025. So keep a close eye on that. It could be a market mover. It's really kind of the last market mover we'll see this year. If we can get back past those numbers, I mean, I'm still very cautious on what the chances that we'll see a correction next year. In fact, a fairly deep one. But I am thinking that if we can get past these CPI numbers this week, and the chip stocks can hold up as well, that we will, things will continue to move higher, into the end of the year.
Okay, really, really good stuff there. And folks, remember, if you want to trade along with Matt and be alongside for all of his calls, be sure to check out his service on the research site. I went ahead and threw in a link there to the Universe webinar. Rodrigo will get you hooked up. Joe, do you have anything here for Matt before we say goodbye for the week?
Well, I think he covered a lot of the things that I was curious about. I know that that China may do more stimulus, probably closer to the Lunar New Year next year. It seems to be something that they are doing, in order to help their economy. But also, that's going to happen just before the, I believe it's just before the inauguration, or it might happen during the inauguration. So, what do you kind of see with that kind of setup? You see the China stimulus, and Trump comes into office and starts hitting up tariffs. You see a lot of whipping around in the China market as a result of that?
Yeah, it could be, and I just think that the dips will be an opportunity to buy again. But I'm not looking for, oh my God, this is going to be a 2010 opportunity just before China just exploded to the upside. But I do think they're going to do what they can and or whatever it takes, as they say, to prevent it from going lower. So any kind of any kind of dip should provide trading opportunities. So in other words, I'm not saying, oh, buy Alibaba because China's going to turn everything around and their economy is going to take off, and buy it for the long term. Although I do think it's a good stock, very long term. But my point is, I think it's going to create more trading opportunities. And but as for the overall, for the Trump inauguration, I am worried that we're going to get a sell the news reaction to that on a near-term basis. We had no correction this year. It will be normal and healthy if we get one next year. And if I'm Donald Trump, I want a correction next year, because he can always blame it on Biden. Whether you think that's legitimate or not, I don't know. But that's what he'll do if we get it.
Exactly.
And, when presidents take over, when the market's cheap, that's very helpful to them. When the presidents take over and the market's really expensive, like it is today, that's much more difficult. I think he'd much rather see the market come down and then take credit for the bounce when it takes place later on. The one last thing, just to mention real quickly, though, we're seeing silver and gold bounce back nicely off this whole issue with going on in Syria. I really like silver. We in the chat room own some SLV calls. I like gold as well. So keep an eye on those. I think they have some more upside going forward into the next year, into the end of the year, and into next year.
Okay, really good stuff there, Matt. And I'm actually going to take that to remind you, look, if you want to follow Matt in some of those calls, be sure to check out his services. Matt, thank you so much for your time here today. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll check in with you next week, okay?
Sounds great, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, Matt.
That is Matt Maley. He is awesome. His service is absolutely printing money on the other side there. So be sure to reach out to our group. Actually, just had a Black Friday sale with that as well. So awesome stuff. We appreciate Matt and all that he does for us.
SONN turning around, looking like it found some support around 327. This was the bottom end of the candle at 9 o'clock this morning, so might be getting a turnaround here. Still needs to recapture VWAP. I think it has its work cut out for it. VWAP I currently have at 409. So if there's a trade in there, at the very least, a potential trade up to the VWAP. But I still think that if it cannot get back above VWAP, this thing will end up going beneath 3.
Okay. Real good stuff there. SONN, maybe that is turning around here.
All right. So let's see. We had Tenzin mentioning ZEO reversal. I think I had that one up a moment ago. And yeah, it's actually it's getting support from that 200 EMA on the 5-minute. It has been for the majority of the morning. Still hasn't been able to recapture and hold above VWAP yet. And I think that's going to be the big test. If it can do that, then it should have not as big of an issue trying to recapture the 65 EMA. But that recapture of VWAP needs to happen first. That's what I'd be watching for.
Okay. Really, really awesome stuff there. By the way, Tesla here did not go through the VWAP, sold off here. I'm going to be watching my stop here, going to be 392, right? We lose these pre-market lows. Tesla might kind of turn around. I'm still waiting for it to bounce. If this firms up, might add to that starter position and try to hit it to the upside. But so far here, Tesla moving to the downside. No go on that VWAP breakout.
Looks like Duo opened up and popped up to 154 and then pulled back in, almost pulled all the way down to VWAP.
Oh my, okay. What's going on with my...
Seems like the buyers are just trying to step back in and lift it back up. A lot of sell orders from here from 140 to 150 though, so be careful with that. All right, what else are we seeing move here? What are you looking at, folks? CYCN, let's see, and QSI. CYCN, okay, this one looking good. Volume could be better, but this isn't having any trouble getting up there, and it's probably because of how spread this is. I mean, right now I'm seeing a 5 to 10 cent spread on CYCN, and the volume is pretty low. So a buyer comes in, it just goes up another 5-10 cents because that's just where these sellers are spaced apart. So that's what I see with CYCN. This could absolutely get going, maybe even get over 5 if the volume increases. But this is where we're at right now with CYCN. And then you said QSI. Let's see what's going on with that one. This is a quantum name, I assume. Yeah, Quantum SI Incorporated. Yeah. So this one.
Big volume here recently on the last leg up, too.
This is actually getting into a supply zone. It's actually in a supply zone right now. If you go to a daily chart and you look from the earlier this year, the first half of the year, it's got to chew through all of that. And it got up to this area earlier this year, back last month, and could not hold above it. So this next visit, which is what we're in right now, this could be the move that takes it higher. Just need to see that volume maintain and continue to push up. And the level we need to get above looks like to be at least 2. I think 2 is going to be the level to get over here.
Okay.
Amazon Beast Mode. That's a stock that probably should cool off pretty soon here.
At this point, I feel like it's just been up almost every day here. Only up 1.2% here, but it is higher again. Just looking across the board here, Apple up 0.6, and Netflix actually turned back around. Netflix was another one that was really, really extended, at least on the daily chart here. It looks like this is coming in a little bit, but barely anything here on Netflix.
Yeah, it looks like got an inside candle there on that for the time being. We're still early in the day, so that could change to be anything. But at the moment, it looks like an inside candle.
Tesla coming down here to this 392 level. We definitely want to watch that. Really don't want that to break here. Want Tesla to firm up.
As that goes down, Rivian goes up. This is looking to break over 15 here, where there's a huge wall of sell orders. That was the high that we made in the intraday session as well. So 15, big breakout level for Rivian if it gets the volume. Crow mentioning GXAI is going, and also
I took a look at that. It's not really though.
Okay.
Or it wasn't. Maybe it was just kind of a head fake there. Yeah, look, it popped back above that VWAP, but it's still kind of holding in there.
Still having a hard time getting to that pre-market consolidation. And also Jerry was mentioning HSAI. It's also got AI in the name. This is how dumb the market is right now. It has AI in the name. It's likely moving. Yeah, this is up today. Volume at the moment doesn't look too great. Has to looking for a breakout over 1150. That seems to be the price it's kind of stuck on. The high of the intraday session, 1149 as well. That kind of makes sense.
QSI continuing to push highs here. Duo, this might be curling back up towards its highs there. San still being rejected by that 65 EMA. I actually have that on the 1 minute, or rejecting that, looking pretty firm there.
BBAI got to 449, turned around, lost VWAP, and now it is testing the lows of the intraday session. Actually, it's right at 65 EMA. So let's see if I get some support here from the 65 EMA, and then we need it to recapture VWAP. Seeing a little bit of weakness across these names, though.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of looking across the regular market here. S&P futures down 0.15% here. Dow futures up 0.06, and the NASDAQ leading the way down about 0.2 to the downside there.
Oh, is it somebody turn the sound down?
Anything? What's that?
I was just asking, is he if somebody turned the sound down?
Oh, okay. Oh, SOUN. I got it. SOUN. This did actually turn down here.
Oh. For what? Nobody? Ah, okay.
Turn down for what, you mean? Well, I got it there.
All right. So
doing better than Trump's DJT. How is DJT doing here today? DJT holding 35 here.
Reddit really starting to move down here. I'd be looking at the 65 EMA for some support. I currently have that at 170.50. SNTI, more to go, says Crow. Let me take a look at this.
I'm going to bring this up on screen. I'm actually going to step away for just 1 sec. 13 BRB.
All right. Well, what was the deal with this like a week ago? On December 2nd, we had a huge pop up to 1694. Let me look and see what this news was. I want to say I remember this, but let me double check and see what this was. So on the 2nd of December, this had an oversubscribed 37.6 million private placement in equity financing. So a big old cash infusion. Today, they got a price target raise from 10 to 12. And it is at 668. So there is some room to go. Bitcoin down again. Might just be another buying opportunity here. Let's see what we got here with Bitcoin. So popped up to 104, 174, and came back in. Looks like it's just kind of going sideways at the moment, but it does need to get back above that 99,800 level. I think that's a level I'd have marked off here, as it's been a support and resistance level previously. Let's see it get back above 99,800.
Which stock? Are we still on SNTI?
I was just mentioning Bitcoin, where I think it needs to get back above in order for it to continue going up. Just looking around here, GXAI, that's still holding the VWAP. Folks mentioning BCTX is on a run.
VCTX?
BCTX.
BCTX.
This is put in nothing but green candles on the 5 minute this morning.
Okay.
Let's take a look and see what the news is here, if there is any. Oh, I don't see anything. Saw a price target by H.C. Wainwright and Company for $15. That's quite a ways away. They had phase 3 study. This is all like from earlier this month, so I don't know that they were really getting anything out of this. That news. This doesn't look like any kind of relative volume play. Maybe there's something that is circulating investors that we just don't know about yet. But it has recaptured the 500-day SMA for the time being. So I'll have to wait and see if there's news attached to this.
You guys mentioning Tesla here. So Tesla is losing that pre-market here. Not great. This is going to need a recapture here, or I'll probably stop out of this trade. This was just a small starter, so not really a big deal here. Did notice that there were a lot of Tesla calls being bought into this down move. So it looks like I had the 405 call here. That was a little bit bigger for the 450 call. Those were cheapies here. Also seeing Rivian calls going off at the same time as well.
So Palantir filled that gap to the downside after gapping up this morning. Maybe there's a potential support here. Maybe it reverses. I don't know.
Looks like Lion buying some Tesla calls into this down move. Jay, you're right here. It does look like there's some big fades in some of these Momo names. We were watching Tesla here, but you also mentioned Palantir. This down, 6 points almost from the highs there. Affirm, that was the buy now, pay later that really had a great week last week. Affirm coming in. Sorry, 13. Agree here, Jay. A lot of these Momo names really coming back in. What was that, 13?
Tim Craziness is asking, how is China's antitrust probe affecting Nvidia? Well, some of their revenue comes from China. As a matter of fact, quite a large portion of it comes from China. So this antitrust probe could mean a couple of things, actually. Less money coming from China, and maybe even some of their technology being stolen. Yeah, the silence is deafening. That's what China does. They, these antitrust probes, understand these are technology grabs.
Yeah.
They're not investigating garbage. They're trying to figure out how to steal IP and ideas. Anyway, that's how it's affecting that stock.
App also coming in here. I did stop out of that Tesla trade. That was a no-go. So unfortunate there. Q's also still moving to the downside here as we speak. Sorry, what was that? BBAI that you wanted to take a look at?
Yeah, these AI names starting to look a little weak here. Where is AI itself at? C3.ai. That one also losing VWAP. I might just sit on my hands for a little bit, see what this market is doing. What is the news in the SPY lately? See if there's any headlines that are pulling this thing down. Because the SPY is also really losing some levels as well. Seems like 606 might be a good support area for SPY. There's a lot of
I don't really see any news here since we opened 13. Wholesale inventories month over month for October in line. That's basically it. Did have some of that China news earlier here, but what else is going on? AMD.
Lots of uncertainty in this market right now.
Mondelez shares are trading lower following a Bloomberg report suggesting the company is exploring a potential acquisition of Hershey.
What?
Hershey? Yeah, that's interesting. Hershey, on the other hand, up 14.5% on that same piece of news. Let me put that on a bigger chart here. So that looks like takeover rumor news there. Look at Hershey. This popped almost as high as that 500-day moving average here. So this is interesting. Wednesday of last week, we had a rumor here. The Hershey company traders circulate an unconfirmed rumor suggesting the company is in talks to being acquired. So we didn't even look at it when that came up last week. This week looks like we're getting more news here that Mondelez approached Hershey to explore the takeover. That came from Bloomberg.
I looked at Mondelez and a couple of other companies that are heavily into the, I don't want to exclusively say dairy industry, but just the milk aspect of that in particular. because apparently there's a lot of tainted milk from what's the disease? I think it's avian bird flu that they're finding in the milk. So there's a lot of testing. Let me see if I can find the information that I saw, because we talked about it in the happy hour chat.
Yeah, I actually think I saw a report on this over the weekend, 13, that a bunch of the I think I know what you're talking about. Drew's mentioned here it's bird flu.
Yes, bird flu and so the thing I'm worried about is how these are going to affect some of the makers of chocolate and other products that use milk for their products. And Mondelez is one of the ones, as well as Hershey's, that I was worried about. Let me see if I can actually find this conversation, because this is something that I think we should be taking a look at. Okay, here we go. Let me just give this
really quickly. Just a reminder here: this Hershey's rumor, or this news that's going on here, this would have been absolutely money for day trading. If you have Squawk, there was definitely a trade here. The more expensive the stock, the bigger the move. All right, 13.
I just slacked you a tweet that says the USDA is issuing a federal order mandating the national milk supply be tested for bird flu. Testing will begin December 16th in 6 states: California, Colorado, Michigan, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Oregon. I don't think that's Massachusetts. I may have screwed that up. But what is MS?
Michigan? MI is Michigan. MS, I believe, is Missouri.
Missouri, sorry. I should have known that. I'm bad. Bird flu has infected nearly half of all dairy farms in California, the top milk state.
Mississippi. I was wrong too. MS is
okay, so it was Mississippi. See, we should probably go back to high school.
I'm not going back to high school. That was no chance.
Where all the T stamps are. Anyway, so anyway, that's just jokes aside. That's something that we should be really watching for, because this is I don't think this has really made its way through the big news chains, but once it does, this could be really, really bad for some of those chocolate manufacturers. I have a list of other names with exposure to milk, the milk industry. Let me give you those tickers here. I'll just type them in the chat for you.
Okay, really good stuff there on that news post. BBAI, by the way, while you're doing that, BBAI total reversal here, and Tesla, which you guys called was in free fall. Sometimes your first stop is your best stop, continuing 4 points lower than that stop area.
There you go. Those are some of the names of that are publicly traded with the biggest exposure to milk. Is he saying CMCSA pounded? So that's Comcast. Yeah. See, what does it tell you about us when we know these tickers so much better than our states?
It's that we spend a lot of time looking at the market. That's what that's what it tells me, man.
I'm going to make fun of myself for the rest of the day on that. I should have known MS.
Big B's, nice job here, up 40% on the Netflix put. What was the entry there? Was it just weak in the pre-market? What told you that was the trade of the day here? Because that's a really good one. This was up in overnight trading too. Big move.
Oh, geez. Smoked tuna. I don't know. I don't even know that was available, and now I wish I didn't.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. Honestly.
I don't know where they get the milk from. I have an idea. And if it's anyway, let's move on. Anyway, QSI might be
you're the one that highlighted that comment, not me.
I don't like ignoring people. So, and he smoked tuna. We're globalists.
No, that's not true.
We're just talking stocks. I mean, sometimes, you've got to take a worldly view on some of these things, understand what's going on, but
Whirlpool up almost 10% here on no news. Ticker WHR. Does anyone have anything on Whirlpool?
Let's see here.
I don't have anything on that one.
Let's see. It's
RBRK. This was a big earnings winner from last week. This is actually trying to go higher here a little bit. RBRK. Reddit, which we talked about earlier today, big fade from that 180 level on Reddit.
Whirlpool might be short squeezing.
Say again?
Whirlpool might be short squeezing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy the dips, C-Dot, but some of these you might be waiting longer than others.
MDB, this is Mongo database. This is actually trading up here. Remember, they have earnings here tonight. Ticker MDB.
Wow, BBAI. After 450, it just gave back everything that it did this today, including pre-market. Almost back down to the support area of 355. So we get down to 355, we might see some support. Can't say for sure, but that's what I'd be looking at.
I don't see anything great here.
Thinking about it. CDC is testing samples from Wonka's chocolate river.
Don't see anything great here. Let me see.
Duo trying to turn around and push back up to 150. Not sure we're going to get that, but it's trying. CYCN was a good mention. That made a new intraday high of 471.
Yeah, even my group of day traders not really after a whole lot here today.
No, things were extended, and I think everybody's maybe just kind of managing expectations. SONN actually pushing back up, so this one not done yet after getting support from the 325 area. But again, they can't recapture VWAP.
The last time it did this, it faked out and went right back down to the lows. So just careful on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, excellent sideshow. That's exactly why you have stop losses. Boom. Didn't lose, you won.
Especially if they're trailing stops.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla's still in free fall. Man, oh man, I had that one wrong.
Well, let me take a look here at Tesla. What's the deal here? Are they worried about rate cuts not happening? That would help this company. Or is it maybe it has something to do with the tax incentives?
Interesting thing here too. VIX actually traded down on Friday, traded down to a low of 12.7. It is bounced here. We're currently at 13.7. I think we were talking about 12 or 11 handle on the VIX being the next spot for a potential bounce. That's what we're seeing here today. Apple still at the highs. Watch for a 245 move there on Apple. Otherwise, I don't really see a whole lot else going on.
Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, only Mag 7's positive today. And not by much. They're all up by less than 1%. So, yeah, you know what? Getting some. That's from later. Sorry, I'm sorry. Earlier in the week. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now. Still seeing that SONN is trying to curl back up. Maybe there's a trade up to VWAP, but I don't want to jump into that.
January calls for BP here. 1,000 lot sweep. Oh, excuse me. These are not January. This is September of 2025. 1,000 contract sweep here. 37 call. So it looks like they see oil going higher.
You reminded me of another stock, BE, Bloom Energy. After that run it's had, this thing is getting hammered today.
It sure is. Gold getting mentioned by 3D here, Barrick Gold. This at the highs here too. Remember, Matt had talked about liking gold and silver right at the end there. And Barrick, this actually looks like this. Wasn't this didn't their CEO had an arrest warrant or something last week?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday here. Mali has issued an arrest warrant for Barrick Gold CEO Mark Bristow. What ended up happening with this?
Mali, like the country?
Mali.
I don't know.
According to a document seen by Reuters and confirmed by 2 other sources. I don't have any. Here we go. Mali escalates mining tensions, targets Barrick CEO with an arrest warrant.
Ooh.
We'll see. Okay. So I'm wondering then, I'm wondering what the next trade is here, because obviously this is coming back here today.
Find a different gold stock. That would be the easiest one way for me, because I don't know at this point. I mean, is this going to hurt their operations in that area? Could this be a downside event for Barrick Gold? And Bigabees, how enforceable will that be?
Yeah, that's my question, is how enforceable. Despite 3 visits to Mali this year, negotiations have faltered.
Okay, so I mean, if we're looking for a trade here, I mean, if you like shorts, then that might be a good one. But for me, I would just find another gold stock to trade. And I think that may be another reason why silver's favored as well.
Yeah, I mean,
look at the ratio and see how far apart they are. As far as Soundhound goes, looks like because we were getting asked about that. As far as entries, I mean, it looks like it's trying to hold up right here. So it looks like 330 was the support area, but it doesn't look like it's going to be holding that. In fact, there it goes right beneath it. You could lean on the 65 EMA, which I have at 293, 294. But I don't know that I'd want to really trade this. So I'll just give you some EMA levels. You have the 65 EMA.
Sorry, what stock is this? I'm still on gold here.
This is Soundhound, because we were getting asked about levels. So real quick for Soundhound, if you're looking to trade this, I wouldn't be. But the 65 EMA is at 294, and the 200 EMA is at 242. So
this was on Soundhound.
Yeah. We were just getting asked entry levels, and I was like, I don't think there's really many good entry levels here. It looks like this wants to go back down, but if you're going to trade this for bounces, I just give them EMA levels.
But $2.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't. Sorry, I did not do a good enough job following you there.
We were just
$14.
We were just. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, dude, I am so lost. Holy smokes!
I had the wrong ticker on there because it was like off by 1 ticker. I'm so sorry. So withdraw from all that. If we continue lower, 1240 might be a good spot for entry. It looks like. I don't know how I got that mixed up. Again, same thing. I don't know that I'd want to be trading this or really a whole lot of these speculative names at the moment with the market breadth the way it is. But 1240s or 1240, 1245 would be the next spot I'd be interested in for entry. But even then, I don't want to pick any up at that level.
All of the Chinese names still doing well here. Some of those smaller names, TIGR, new highs. Yen, this is the bull ETF. This is also curling back up towards the highs here. BABA curling back up towards the highs here. Pinduoduo gave one of the better moves earlier. This is still right around the VWAP.
There was something else I was looking at too. And I don't know what it was. Oh yes, Bloom Energy. This one looks like it's going to be going lower, putting in a pretty nice bear flag in the 5-minute chart. But might be going back down to 20. Yeah, BBAI, super. Holy, somebody give BBAI a parachute. Yeah, these names are starting to really fall here. Got some good trading out of them this morning. Oh, look at actually BBAI down to that 355 level I mentioned earlier and bounced off that. So let's see if we get a reversal. But no trade for me. I think I just kind of want to just sit back and see what the market does.
Yeah, I don't have any really good setups here on anything. S&P futures trading down here.
Yep. Spy right through that 606.
It's trying to bounce, but
it is trying to bounce right there. Turned around, trying to recapture 606, trying to go higher. If it does continue to move up, I kind of think that there might be 607 might be the top. Even I don't even like that area. I think it does. I don't think it gets higher than 606.50 on this bounce. Let's see if that holds true. NEO still strong. BTC dipping under 98K.
That's what I was just looking at, literally reading my mind as I was looking at the other screen. LDTC getting mentioned here by Smoke Tuna. Do we finally have a setup here? We did. It's moving away from the VWAP here. 150 looks to be this, but let me take a look. I haven't seen any really great setups. I haven't even looked at the level 2 recently. 155's got some size there, and then 160 above it.
Yeah, we need to see some big volume step in to take that out, or else we're not getting above it. Watch for the volume expansion in LDTC. There might be a trade happening here, and even if it does break out over that, all this consolidation from the pre-market into the open, that's now supply area it has to get through. And that's what you're seeing from all those sellers. That's what all that is. IWM not looking bad. With a potential rate cut looming next week, there's probably an anticipation that they're going to cut. Matt thinks they're going to cut. I think they're going to cut.
Yep.
I think the expectation is that they're going to cut. Can't say for sure what's going to happen next, but my thought is that after this cut, they probably pause. Because the next FOMC meeting is going to be in January after Trump takes office. And I think the Fed's going to want to wait and see what his policies, what kind of effect they have on the world economy before they start cutting rates or making other decisions. So I think they pause for a time, maybe into the May and June FOMC meetings. They'll pause. That's my thought at the time for the time being right now.
MSTR so far so good.
500 by Friday.
I think that's just Jay ruffling some feathers here. MicroStrategy turned around here today. This is just moving with the rest of the market names here. Apple really the only one bucking this trend.
How's TSM doing today?
Oil up by 2.5% here today. Mike, was that you that were on oil earlier? Someone had mentioned oil as being a trade earlier.
Well, didn't I think Saudi Arabia they put out some policy with oil because OPEC didn't cut. So I think what was it? Saudi Arabia did something in response to OPEC. I can't exactly remember if they cut or what, but I think that was the news that is moving oil today. Let me double check.
Okay, while you're doing that, Wolf speed here up to the highs. Do we have any news here on Wolf? Common stock offering 200 million.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia cut oil prices as OPEC keeps delaying output revival.
Yeah, we covered that last week, didn't we?
Well, this is something from 9 hours ago.
No, so maybe that wasn't then. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess OPEC delaying and Saudi acting. And that's why we're getting a movement in oil. Okay. Yeah, OPEC plus, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is what we were doing. Yeah, this is the news that we covered last week. Russia's Novak talking about OPEC plus. And you're saying we had new news here today or like 9 hours ago.
Yeah, earlier today's the decision that they made regarding OPEC's, dragging their feet.
Okay. All right. God, I wish I had something. I wish I had more active trades right now. This LDTC sitting right at the VWAP. Sitting right at the VWAP there. It's at VWAP in my broker, a little bit higher here in Pro Trading View. SMCI, there was another one that you guys have mentioned that a few times here today. We never even took a look at it.
Oh, really? Okay, well, let's talk about that.
I haven't yet. SMCI here. Supermicro computer shares are trading higher after the company announced it had granted an extension from the NASDAQ to file its annual report. That doesn't really seem news to me.
Yeah,
I think it's a further extension. I get it.
Yeah, February 25th, I believe, is what the day was. If anybody wants to double check me on that, I believe that's what they were. They'd have the extension to. Also, we're still in this consolidation. This is what I was looking for. Just a lot of question marks regarding what's going to happen in this zone that we saw here from.
And the top end of this zone that you have is like $50 thereabouts,
yep.
right? 13.
40 to 50.
Yep.
That's where I think we're going to be for a moment until we get the news. It's going to either take us there's going to be some piece of news that's going to take us out of this consolidation. Whether it's up or down, I can't say for sure. I would think down. I still have my doubts that this is, this company's going to recover from, that whole thing that they've got going on with their accounting and their ridiculous independent investigation of themselves. But anyway, that's where I'm at with it. In that consolidation, 40 to 50, there's a piece of news that's going to take us out of that. Just don't know what it is yet.
And not a whole lot of great setups here, pretty much on anything. Leslie's, this is higher here. BPAI continued to move lower. SONN was moving lower. RVPH, looks like someone mentioned this one here in the chat. This is a halt fest here. This is a little too rich for my blood.
Oh, is it time to break out the crazy levels?
No, I mean, I don't know. RVPH. Jay wants all. Jay, I don't know where you went, but you want all of the smoke now. PLTR here. This down almost 10 full points. This is down 8 points now. I'm sure we could find the jot it down guy for you, Jay. If you want to find the Palantir shorters, I'm sure we could go find him.
Well, it's still early in the day for Palantir, but you know what? We're starting to look like this could end up being an engulfing candle if we continue with this downside.
Can you get that on Walmart? I've been waiting on that for multiple weeks, 13. I'd love to get that type of reversal here on Walmart.
What, it's not
Walmart down here, 1% and almost 1.25% ex dividend in 4 days. Maybe that'll bring it in.
Yeah, it had. Remember, back in November when it had that big red day, and then what happened the very next day? You can see right there on your chart. There it is.
The tweezer top. That was not really a tweezer top.
No, that was a total yes, because that was the thing. That was it was such a good reversal setup, and then the shorts absolutely got killed in that.
Yeah, they got murdered.
Absolutely got killed. That was, it was sad to see, but at the same time, it's like, wow, that's kind of funny. Still watching Rivian. This is breaking out of the downtrend that it was in. So bit of a flag happening here with Rivian. Looking to take out 15. Need more volume though. Tiger, no one's watching this.
We took a look at it a few times. We're not hovering.
We're not ignoring it.
But we took a look at it a few times.
This this one's still continuing to move up. I'll tell you what. Let's just look at some levels for this one real quick here.
That's real. When I hear that Palantir is going to 200 next year after starting this year at 10, it raises a caution flag for me. Yeah, I get it. We've had a really good move in Palantir to the upside.
And I'm not trying to be a smartass, Jay, but what was your thinking when you saw Tesla do that same thing in 2020? I'm just kind of curious. I'm sure it might have been a red flag for you then, but what was your thought process when you saw it? Go absolutely rip into the thousands, get split, and then rip into the thousands again. I thought that was absolutely insane. I'm just kind of curious what you were thinking.
I thought that was insane too.
Yeah.
I was at the time I was calling Tesla overvalued. Show so much.
Oh yeah.
Big B is mentioning Netflix here. Maybe we do get your 900 print. I'll tell you what, this is probably the trade of the day, Big B's. The short on Netflix right out of the gate. Did not have that one on my radar, though. Was not a part of that one.
For TIGR, up FinTech, $9 is a very interesting level here for me. This, if I go look back to October when we had this pop over, 10 and went all the way up to 14.48. When it came back down, 9 was support. And then when it lost it, it was resistance a couple of times. And it has not been back there since. I think if we get a test that we get up to 9, we're going to see some pretty stiff resistance there. So that would be a big level for me in TIGR, $9.
I think that might be pretty good. Obviously this thing, huge move here on that China news. If that goes to 9, maybe that's your spot to turn around there.
Yeah, and
continuing to leak.
Yeah, and if somehow we start closing over 9, then I'd be looking for a gap fill in that one from 10.32 to 11.28. Why is Etsy up? It might be one of those things where we had a lot of really bullish retail trading up last week, I'm curious if Etsy might have been a laggard in that, and if it was, while these bigger names are starting to unwind, it might be getting more attention. And if there's news, then there's that. I don't know the exact reason, but that would be my thinking on Etsy.
Etsy here reclaiming the 200-day on the daily.
I agree, Mike. The consumer has no juice in China. It's so bad there.
China's in trouble. I think that's something we've kind of discussed. Yeah,
they are in serious trouble. Their economy is getting pretty close to being on the verge of collapse. But the consumer has no. It's so bad in China. I mean, for the younger consumers, they're not even reporting the unemployment numbers anymore. Or I think they stopped and they started with a new way of reporting it, and it's still bad. But
Etsy here, this is actually kind of interesting. I watched this for a close maybe above the 200. Last time we closed above the 200, it gave it up in short order. That was here back in December, actually, same time frame as us right now, back in 2023. And it took this line out and rolled back over. So watch that again here on the 200-day. We're testing it right now. We're in December. See if that pattern holds here or not. I don't, let's see. The call flow here, nothing crazy. Is people still buying Tesla calls? Yep. Those 400 calls getting bought into this down move. That's been all morning on that down move on Tesla. I was just trying to trade some of the stock there, but man, oh man, those calls are still getting bought. 450 calls, 400 calls. Big Juniper sweep here. Juniper 36 call sweep. Intel holding $21 here.
As far as Tesla goes for levels, I think 375 is the earliest you're going to get for support out of Tesla. And even then, I don't feel great about it. But 375 looks interesting to me.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad I cut this earlier. It's been nothing but down ever since then.
Well, hey, it's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong.
Stay wrong. Amen to that, 13.
TIGR looking to take out 850. Still thinking that $9 is the real big level to watch for. I also see that they had some significant size here at 860, but
that's TIGR, right? TIGR, yeah.
Right. 60% on Netflix put, says Big B's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the trade of the day. Big B's really hit that one out of the park here today. Wish I was in there with you on that one.
Thanks for the thank you for the response, Jay. That's I like his synopsis on Palantir. They take pictures at the airport and then send them to Homeland Security. They do a lot more than that, but that's a funny one.
PSQH, this was a former runner from last week. Got a nice little volume pop there at the highs. Not in this one, didn't trade this one, just kind of noticing it from the scanner. Watch if this can take out 5. That would be a level to watch there. QSI at a potential breakout level right here, 186, 187 on QSI.
We need a big expansion of volume for that.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good volume ticks here today on that already.
Mm-hmm. But you look at the price ladder here. I mean, this thing has just got so much to get through between here and 2. I don't know that the current volume it has is going to be able to get through all of that here in short order. We need to see like over 1 million shares traded in these 5-minute candles for that, I think.
ASST, this is a bust through that pre-market high. Is this halted? Yep. This into a halt here. ASST, 99 cents. No position for me on this one.
Smita asking about CRNC.
Low volume, but this is moving up here today. Did we have any news on this? No, not recently.
No, but today was great because well, actually the past couple of days, so Friday and today, because it filled a gap that was back from May. Now it's coming up to a consolidation area that it has to get through, and once it does, this thing could get into the teens, I think, pretty easily. But between here and 10, if you look at the consolidation from April into May, that's the concern I have about where this is going over the next couple of days or so. It looks like it could get through it, but that's going to be the area I'm going to I'd watch for CRNC. So if we get through that
right in here, yep.
We get through that, I think we're headed to the teens.
Also, real quickly here, the this one that we've been trading here today, LDTC. Did I get that ticker right? Indeed, I did. This is starting to compress and coil here. So I don't want to say that this is necessarily done. Maybe if we do get a volume pop in here on LDTC, we get a move here to the upside. So watch this as this coils here. Russell, you were mentioning PSQH. I was just taking a look at that. This was a former runner for us. Looks like this just popped to the highs. I don't really see a setup here. I'd like this to come back in towards the VWAP. Real, which is, of course, ticker REAL. We talked about this one earlier here today. This looks like this might be curling to retake 9 and go higher on Real.
So
this had a $15 price target, by the way.
Seems like Apple's the only one that's really has the best news out of the Mag 7 today. That's likely why it's the highest of the 7.
Apple is rumored to equip its in-house developed 5G modem chip into the new iPhone SE4 set to launch in early 2025. Sources from the upstream supply chain believe the chip is unlikely to catch up with competitors in terms of performance. What was that?
Not that one. That doesn't look good to me, and neither does the lawsuit over the abandoned CSAM detection on its iCloud. The thing that I think is driving this up is the retail footprint expansion in Saudi Arabia. That was reported earlier, like way earlier this morning. I think that's why we're still seeing it up compared to the others.
Okay.
That potential for more increased revenue. That's what I believe.
I'll tell you what, that iPhone SE is supposed to be a pretty good product. I wouldn't know, though. ASST is open. Did we go higher in this one? Nope. We didn't even test $1. So we went lower out of that halt. See if this has enough juice to take $1 out.
Crow, you're not wrong at all about that. I think you were right. The pandemic absolutely killed it killed the movie theater. The whole movie going activity. I don't think I've seen theaters been packed as full as they were prior to the pandemic anymore. But I agree, Marvel movies are unwatchable now.
Replay Game Lab here saying that my extended family are Google Android users and are all looking to make the switch to iPhone for security and quality. That's interesting. I noticed that iPhone, there was a recent change where RCS messages now works across platform between Android and Apple users. There was a news about how those messages could be hacked. Nothing new changed there. It seemed really suspicious, to be honest. ASST looks like we did trade above $1 there, though. I'm not interested in this one.
Yeah, just kind of looking around here, seeing what's going to be good for us. Looking to see if Tiger's actually going to get up to 9 or not. The MACD is indicating this might roll over here soon, and the volume isn't looking great.
Didn't you say 850 had some people there on it, on the actual spot there at 850?
Don't think I said that. I was looking at
it must have been a different one. All right. Anyway, sorry, we're out of time. We ran right up to the end here. I'm sorry, 13. Didn't mean to touch off. Any closing words for the group?
Well, folks, this is looking like it's starting to be a bit of a series of weakening in some of these semi names and some of the things that have been running here. So I don't want anybody to get hurt. Maybe just watch the market unless something is looking good. The volume's not great in this market either. So I might just take the rest of the day off and enjoy the gains that I have. Maybe consider doing the same. Don't lose what you've made today, folks. We'll see you tomorrow and we'll get some more gains. How about that?
All right. Sounds good to me. 13, I'll see you on happy hour later. Good stuff this morning, boss. Take care. Folks, thanks again for joining us here on a Monday, Benzinga's Market Edge Live. We'll wrap it up. I'm going to send you over to the next program here in a sec. You don't have to go anywhere. We'll be back tomorrow. See you all bright and early. Take care, everybody.